Welcome to Snowmobile Sessions Live on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. It's the #1 destination to learn about snowmobiling, network with other sledders, and have an awesome time doing it. We'll meet other snowmobilers that share your passion and show your fan photos along the way. Snowmobile Sessions Live. Enjoy the ride.
Really poor.
This episode of Snowmobile Sessions Live is brought to you by Energy Powersports. They're Oakville's full-line BRP dealer with sales and service to all BRP models and so much more. Energy Powersports always has the fun in store with a wide selection of clothing, parts, and accessories for all your powersports passions. Make Energy Powersports your source for Can-Am off-road, ATV, and side-by-sides. Can-Am on-road Riker and Spider, including the sporty F3S, Sea-Doo watercraft and Switch pontoon boats, and Alumacraft fishing boats powered by Mercury Marine. Put yourself on a Manitou pontoon or a Widescape stand-up snowmobile. Energy Powersports is the home for Lynx and Ski-Doo snowmobiles for the entire family. Do you feel the energy? Energy Powersports, 879 Cranberry Court, Oakville, Ontario, or online energypowersports.ca.
All right, let me get rid of this screen here. There we go. How you doing, Corey? Long time no see.
Yeah, right. How are you?
Good.
Long drive.
Yeah. We just literally got back from snowmobiling this weekend in Quebec, and I wasn't gonna do a broadcast tonight, but then we were talking last night over dinner, and Galitz and outdoor hobby guy popped over to our place for a little visit and said, "You got to come on tonight." And they're going to try and come on from the top of Devil's Mountain, they thought. So we'll see if that works.
Yeah, I mean, there was good service there.
Yeah, there certainly was. Good God, everybody was missing us, Corey. Like, I'm glad we came on. We have Massard in there, Ron Kestelut, LaPointe Skis in the house. Joel Aikner says 2 or 3 more warm days and all the snow will be gone. I know it's kind of depressing. Who else we got in here? Hey, Dallas, how are you, buddy?
Good.
Yeah. Did you miss your dad this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to be home, eh? Jarrett White's in the house. Nathan M. Wisco Sludhead says, hey, everyone. Corey Braca, he's sitting on the screen here. He's also in the chat. Renegade X and Massart and Brian Lynn. The lake's frozen. Great base. We just need snow, he says. Bill McCleary's in the house. It goes on and on. Just fly low. Greg DeGuer, he's back. I'm just trying to find out if there's any new ones. Nathan M, I think I said. 850 XCR 136. Tim V's back. Bobby O is in the house. No bullshit. Oh yeah, All Terrain TV says howdy. All Terrain TV is awesome because I asked him if he would come on the show tonight to introduce him and put a face to the name, and he says he actually was working tonight and he actually runs a CNC machine with his phone up on the edge of it, watching it as he goes along.
Right on.
Yeah, but yeah, so what do you think of that weekend? We went to, Corey and I and Shannon and Drew went to Quebec it was a free ride weekend, so you don't have to pay for a permit. And we left here with no snow, and what did we find out?
It was thin. It was thin till oh man, what do you think? Ottawa? Well, I mean, Brockville, they had some trails open and stuff, but I don't know if I'd want to ride those.
No.
But yeah, basically, Brockville and then north up to Ottawa, still, kind of thin. And then, we started going into where Gatineau and then heading up to Mont Laurier. And we actually, so we had a place booked about a week ago. I had a place booked in Messines, which is about 30 minutes south of Mont Laurier. And, looking at the weather and so on, I reached out to you guys, and basically, we thought, I do a lot of the social media stuff and all that, and, asking questions, and, and it just seemed like around the town of Mount Laurier was not looking good. So we canceled and booked another Airbnb 30 minutes north in Ferme-Nouveau or Ferme-Nouveau, whatever.
Yeah, Ferme-Nouveau.
Ferme-Nouveau. And it was pretty good. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, the trails, yes, it's thin. There's snert. But, the clubs, again, are doing an amazing job for what they have. It's low snow everywhere. So, the best thing about it was, although it was snert and they were smooth, like for the most part, it was smooth snert. So, there's rocks and gravel, the odd spot, but I don't know. Once you got north, it got, again, it was still low snow for, Gary and I were up there last January, mid-January for the free weekend. We moved it. And, there was less snow now than there was back then, I think. So, we have yet to experience what Quebec really has to offer for trails. And for what we've seen, it's still pretty top notch for the conditions that they're given. So, they groom constantly, and I'd recommend it 110%. So.
Yeah, you see a lot of guys, we talked about that this weekend, that just buy Quebec permits. Like even Galitz has an Ontario permit, but he bought Quebec as well. So he got in on the early bird specials, and that's his plan, is to go back and ride there again. So,
it depends on, like, the more Ontario is not getting the snow and Quebec seems to be getting the snow. The passes aren't cheap.
No,
especially now that you got to buy them kind of, mid-season or whatever you want to call it. So you don't get early bird pricing and all that stuff. So yeah, it adds up for sure. But again, we were talking about all the money you're kind of saving, not going away every weekend and not riding and not spending gas and oil and food. And so, if you splurge a couple weekends a year, this year, to be the one, it's great for, I think.
Yeah. It's kind of like a friend of mine had a mentality. He used to be a trail rider, and then he sold his sled because, again, years ago, got into a series of winters where there was low snow, not like this at all, and sold his sled. And then he went out, he decided he was going to take one trip a year to BC, and now he's doing 2 trips a year to BC. He bought a mountain sled, and that's his riding, because he knows he's going to get snow. He doesn't have to worry about stressing of having a snowmobile and not knowing where to ride it or when to ride it. So he's even hurting this year, though, because out west they don't have much in the mountains. So he's had to cancel one of his trips as well. But
I just see LaPointe. I see LaPointe's question. You can. So we've looked this up. So basically, for a day pass, I think it's $95. And then the 3-day pass, we looked on the way home, it's $185. And then I didn't quite look at the week because I don't plan on going back for a week. But yes, you can buy a day pass. Yes, you can buy a 3-day pass. And then I think there's a 7-day pass. So in this, like I said, in this climate we have right now, it's worth it to me. So
yeah. And just to let you guys know, and one of the reasons why we chimed in tonight is because most of the lodge session guys are on. Like you got Castellut and Lepoinski and things like that. So I talked to Jim today. They've closed the Sudbury trails, but he's tight with the Sudbury trail plan and the groomers. They won't get a groomer out until there's snow. So, and they're not looking at snow till next week. The unfortunate thing is there is rain scheduled on Friday of this week, and that's going to be the deciding factor of what happens with the lodge weekend. And he's understandable that if we do have to pull the plug on this thing, that it's a snowmobile trip, and if there's no trails to be open, then there's no point in actually doing anything like this. So if we will let you guys know Monday what's going to go down. I'm going to send out an email to everybody tomorrow, and then we'll let you guys, we'll leave it. We'll see what happens on Friday and over the weekend. Jim was thinking there's going to be some snow on Saturday, but it's not showing any in the forecast. He said every day that there's snow in the air, but
it's like
nothing,
1 centimeter.
Yeah, and nothing. No, but even right now, but nothing's accumulating. So he's going. It's
probably because how warm it is during the day. Just
and
what you get per day just goes away by the end, right?
Yeah. So
cold at night.
Joel says, "Lord, thank you for this beer I'm about to drink. Beer run, but it would be nice if you could deliver." How long of a drive was it? Ron says. Ron, it was only a 6-7 hour drive. So it's kind of funny when you think you got to drive 9 hours from where I am to Cochrane, and I can go to Quebec in 6 or 7 hours and be riding great snow.
Yep.
So it's that's the nice thing about it, right? It's Brian Lynn's going to Bassard Saint Zenon, Quebec, February 25th to March 1st. The Saint Zenon is one that we're talking about to go back to again, but stay tuned and we'll keep the discussion going. If something does happen that the lodge sessions does get canceled in Sudbury, if anyone's interested in joining us in Quebec, I mean, I don't want to be responsible for anybody and saying it's a group ride or anything like that. But if anyone's interested, just shoot me an email, fanphoto@mudbrats.com, and we can just, keep you guys in the loop of where we're at. And I mean, it'll be on your own to get accommodations and things like that. And, we'll just see what happens. Right. But we want to make the best of a situation. I mean, it sucks because we had big plans this year for Poker Run, and I got prizes lined up and everything like that. So it does. So,
but that's not to say that we're, we're optimistic, obviously, as everybody has to be this winter. I know but just for a heads up for anybody who's wondering, just stay away from Facebook, I think, is the number one thing. There's so many people who are like, oh, I haven't moved my sled out of the garage. And it's like, because they're not willing to trailer more than like 15 minutes. So everybody just keep your spirits up. We'll keep you guys posted. I'm probably the most optimistic person in our close group because I do want this to go ahead. It was a lot of fun last year and it's a great time, but it's comparing and that's all I'm going to say. Now, actually, to go back to what Corey was saying, it's $285 for a week permit in Quebec. So fair prices, really. So, but you 95 per day, 185 for 3, 285 for a 7, and 900. Is it 900 for?
Yeah. No.
Full in trail. Sorry. So if you purchase your permit at the normal time you buy an OFSC, it is 440, and right now it'd be 530. So they have fair prices. Now it's higher than OFSC, but the trail, we can get into that a little bit, what we thought are about the experience. And
actually here's kind of a comment here. Corey's pretty tight with club interaction involvement and the OFSC. And there's been a couple of comments on here, and Tim said maybe they discount permits next year. That's kind of a dumb thing. They never will. But this one here is, do you know the answer to this question, Corey? What does the OFSC do with the money since there's no winner?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't go that deep into that type of stuff. I personally would say they it just goes to the bank. Like what are you gonna do, right? What I think the OFSC loses one winner, they gain another winner, right? Not lose, but they'll have some winner where they're spending tons of money on diesel and throwing money at clubs, and then there's other winners like this where they're not. So for sure. Right.
Do they put money into bridges? I think they always put money into bridges, right?
Yeah, if you follow there's always
money going into infrastructure. I went to the AGM this year. And it's a lot of sit there and listen to them, and it was really informative, really well done. But they do pie charts obviously and stuff of what goes into what they put back into infrastructure and the grooming and signage and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's, but yeah, lodge sessions from a Florida beach.
Yeah. No, but Lapointe says no negativity. I agree with this. No negativity on this chat, please. Do it. Even if we go there and we drink for a week, I would just take the trip to hang with my boys, you boys, no problem.
I mean, that's almost what Lapointe did last year with his issues that he had. No offense. That kind of happened last year, Lapointe. So I think he's geared up.
He needs to break in that new motor, right? He needs to break in the new motor.
MUDBRATS golf outing.
Yeah, MUDBRATS golf outing. Yeah,
golf sessions.
$100 in the house, evening, everyone. He says.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, hey Corey, have you got your new helmet handy?
I do.
Yeah,
actually.
Let's talk about that, man.
All right. Well, we can.
Corey's
so
can I preempt this though?
Sure.
You got two new helmets this year. One was you got the other one there. Well, let's talk about both of them.
Oh boy.
It's so funny because at the beginning of the season, Corey and I were at the Toronto show and we actually featured both these helmets, right? At the show. Yeah. The first one being the 509 Commander V. And we were talking on the weekend is, you know, lots of YouTubers went out there and got these helmets and some of them might have got them for free. And all you hear is the good, like how great they are. But can you believe it when you're putting your own cash on the table, Corey?
Look at that sexy thing.
Well, so I'll be honest. I was able to score 509 Trail Ambassador discount code. It gave me quite a bit of money off. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this beauty a try. And I bought it. First things first, I got it. And basically, normally I'm a medium. In my normal helmet. I usually wear an oxygen. And so I buy a medium thinking, you know, I'm going to get a medium helmet. So I buy it. It shows up. I put it on. Well, I tried to put it on. And once I got it on, taking it off, I actually scraped the back of my ears. Because I don't know if you can see it. This hole opening for your head is extremely small. So I don't know.
You can kind of see the curtain at the back. It's tight right in there.
It's really bad. So putting it on wasn't bad. Taking it off, like I said, it actually scraped the back of my ears. So after that was done, I contacted 509. I told them, and I was able to return it, and I bought a large, and wasn't sure about, you know, large sizing because I didn't try it on. But anyway, this is a large. Everyone was complaining online about not having a drop-down sun visor. So I ended up buying, with the discount, the chrome tinted visor, right? Pretty sweet. Looks pretty good.
Looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. Okay, so I tried it. So I tried it 3 times. I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. First time, 5 minutes.
That's not a good way to start a review, Corey.
I'm going to be honest.
This is an honest review.
Personally, this thing is not good, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, yeah. And just to go back,
and it's for sale. If someone wants to buy it, it's for sale. So
but you didn't hate your oxygen. You just like the look of that. Like I know you love your oxygen.
Yeah, I've had my oxygen for 3 years, and is the oxygen the prettiest helmet out there? No. You know, I had a good buddy wrap it, and it looks good. But again, it's still a bowling ball, and I've had it for 3 years, and you know, I like to change up my stuff. So anyways, I got this helmet, and I go up to Halliburton Forest with Shannon, and in the meantime, I bought it because I thought, I did some research, and Cardo Midlands and Uclear, and I guess Sena, apparently last summer or 6 months ago, joined forces and made a Bluetooth mesh intercom, and they all went together, and It's all supposed to be good. So I contacted Uclear and tried to hook them all up, and I got it to work at home. But the problem, so everything was good. Shannon and I go to Halliburton Forest. I put it on my head, and it's hurt, and it's just crackling. Like the comm was just crackling. She could hear me. I couldn't stand it. So I turned around, stuck it back in the truck, and got the oxygen with the Uclear, and away we went. Second time I tried it was the rail bed. It was minus 21. So the big issue I had with this helmet is the visor. So it's kind of hard to see. I can't close it. So right now it's not locked in. Okay. You cannot close it. The only way to close this thing I found is pushing this top right here. So now it's locked. Okay. Now to open it, watch.
Oh, wow.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
You were not lying about that, eh? Holy.
So now, again, can't close it. You got to push here.
You're pushing in on the top to warp
Pushing
it.
in on the top, and it clips down over top of this little nub here. Now, I talked to a guy, and I don't know if he said he was going to file down the nub here, the nub in here, and which this is an expensive helmet. You really shouldn't have to do that, right?
No, it should come ready. To
So minus 21, my hands are freezing, and I'm driving down the rail bed. And there's just air leaking everywhere because I can't close it. Right?
You need two hands.
I don't understand what was going on. So I turn around and go get my oxygen. The other thing I hated, not hate, but like I'm used to a neck curtain, and I haven't worn a balaclava in my oxygen for 3 years. This doesn't obviously have a neck curtain. So you got to wear a balaclava.
509 helmet leak, terrible wind everywhere.
Well, they haven't changed much, personally. In my opinion, they haven't changed much. It's bad. Like and once it gets hot, I want to let air in. So now, so that didn't, obviously this. The other thing I found too is the cord that they give you is about 2 feet long. So I cut it and actually joined it back together because I try and run the oxygen cable that like through the jacket, and then I tried to do it the same way as I run my other helmet. So I didn't want this cord everywhere. So I cut it and then shrink tubed it, soldered it, and all that stuff.
Yeah, it looks good.
509s and they've all leaked. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like 509s to me always look cool. This helmet is light. Like this is the lightest out of all three. Yeah, hit it, buddy. Come on. Update. Okay, thanks. He's playing Minecraft.
Yeah. Well, what are some good? So, what are some other goods about it? Like you like the lightweight. What else?
Lightweight. I mean, like honestly, so the comm unit when I was by myself, the comm unit worked really well. Like it hooked to my sled. I had no issues with that. It's very like volume up, volume down, right? I mean, the light was cool. It gets brighter when you plug it into the sled. So it's, you can have it off or on. This is obviously the heated visor. I just didn't like the visor is killing me. Like the visor locking is literally like and opening it on it's no good.
Yeah.
So
no, it's not cool. You can't run it with two hands. I think you're spoiled by the oxygen too, how easy it is to use, right?
Yeah, it's a great helmet. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't thrilled with it. I love the look. But again, it doesn't have the drop down sun visor. So I did find this, I ran this at night and it was pretty dark. So, I mean, unless you want to change, visor every day and night, which it's not hard. There's just two little things you pull down. Visor comes out. You undo the little screw on the side here. And then, so I mean, I didn't get a whole lot of time with it, like maybe like 100 kilometers or something like that. So you know, maybe if I put a balaclava on, or a good balaclava, it wouldn't be so bad. But again, I love the look, and I don't know.
It didn't have a chin curtain either, which was another. That was a deal breaker for me.
It just has this little like deflector thing, which didn't really work. Like, it didn't work. It has the FID lock system. I never even pumped up the ear things because you got to sit there for 20 minutes, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
the point.
509. I just think for the cost of this helmet, like this helmet sitting right here with this visor, tax, everything is like $1,700, right? So it's $1,269 plus tax. The visor's $220 plus tax, right? So you're like $1,800 or whatever the case may be. So for what it's worth, is definitely not. It's not worth the money. I wouldn't like I said, I got it for a fairly decent price, so I would never pay full price for this thing. So.
But you'd buy it used from Corey if anyone's looking for one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great helmet. It looks really good, right? Maybe people like 509. I mean, unfortunately, it's a Polaris product. So,
well, the biggest point I think that you made, and it's agree, is the price point that is more expensive than an oxygen, and that is significantly worse. Like, think about even the visor. I can do this with an oxygen visor, even when it's frozen and it'll pop open. Like, that's just ridiculous. That you're fighting against a helmet, like you shorting the cord and people filing down their visor. It's a very expensive product. Like
you literally hear that click, and then
oh my gosh,
you can't do this on your.
And Corey's not Corey. Now Corey's weak. I think that, you know, me and Dad could do it with one.
But if you ever watch my videos, how often I flip up and down the oxygen, and it's one hand click and it's good to go, right? So it's like, I can see that. So then you actually picked up something else to try.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough. Good friend of mine, I guess, decided. He asked. I was talking to him about the 509, and he had said, "Have you tried the Advex?" So I said, no, I have not, because again, the price is kind of, it's a little steep. So he said, well, why don't you give it a shot? You're going to Quebec, and, you know, let me know how you like it. So here it is. It's the, obviously matte black, modular.
And this is your first time wearing a modular helmet, we talked about.
Never wore a modular helmet.
Yeah.
You know, so first problem was the Vibe communication system. It's made by Sena. Where are we here? So Sena.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah.
And Sena doesn't mesh with the Uclear. So our group uses Uclear. So I just kind of rigged it up with the Uclear for the weekend. I am going to try it like on my own with the Vibe system, the communication system. It's an add-on.
You said it sounds incredible too, right? Like,
the speakers are Harman Kardon. So yeah, I did pair it to my phone and all that stuff before I did the Uclear, and the speakers are out of it. The cool thing is, so this unit, if you unclip this back piece here, there's another piece that goes in there. It's like a battery pack. And then it all charges through here. You have to do an initial charge to get everything to start working, and then once you plug it in, it all charges through the 12-volt sled. So, but it's cool because the speakers and the mic are all quick disconnect. So if you don't want the speakers and the mic in there, for instance, with me, I didn't need them this weekend, so I took them out, put the Uclear system in there, and then, you know, we use that. So I just have to now just take out, and it's all got little channels and everywhere. So it's pretty sweet for hooking up quickly and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so basically, like, so it was my first time using a modular, and I put it on, and, you know, it's really cool. The only thing, like, I don't know, like, it's not a game changer or nothing, or like a deal breaker, but I think if the visor lifted up as well as the modular part, it would kind of be cool to kind of let more air in. There is a vent here on the front to let air in, which works. I tried that all weekend long. There's also 2 vents. That's got these 2 little switches.
Modulars is a smoker helmet.
Yeah,
it is a smoker's helmet, but you know what? You were sitting there with it flipped up, chit-chatting with us and, having a Gatorade or whatever, and it was like effortless.
Yeah, it's really cool. The one thing I did find, like during the end of the day, so how this works, it has a neck curtain, which was cool. It works off Velcro. So you put your helmet on, obviously, and then this Velcros to there, and it's got magnets everywhere. So, that goes there. And then there's another piece, a flap, that magnets to the chin curtain or neck curtain. And I was finding that just with condensation, this was getting stiff.
Oh, okay. So the magnets didn't align? Is that
they didn't align. So I kind of had to, took my glove off, and because you can feel it. Like if it doesn't magnet together, you can feel a draft. Like there's air that will just go right. You can actually see it there.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. The other thing was like the visor. So if you clip up the front to there, and then you can actually clip it up one more to open it right up. And then once you clip it back down, and then you just move the visor back down into place. Now the visor is removable. I don't think I'd ever take it off in my life, because then it would just look like an oxygen helmet. So did it catch much wind, or was it pretty aerodynamic? I didn't find it all. I mean, we didn't really, but like you can see here, like there's a lot. Yeah, it's open. Right? Yeah. So, I mean, probably if your head was in line with I feel like Skidoo's probably done their air testing and stuff to try and cut wind. Like, it's, I found it very good. I didn't find any glare. Like some guys claim that the oxygen is glare. I see it a little bit at night. But there wasn't any glare. It does have the flip down sun shield, right? So nice. Yeah. The only problem with that was when I had my comm on. So here's the comm here, and when I had the comm, on, that's just where you mounted it. Yeah, that's where I mounted it. It was really hard. It almost hits the thing. So with your gloves on, I wasn't really playing with that too much, because you just have to pick another location. Yeah, that's not really a fault. So just going back, no. But if you see like. Because you mounted it there because you had to mount it because of the other comm. Yeah. I had to mount it up high because the other comm's there, and then the wire, it's only long enough. It's like, so yeah, that's all. I mean, that has nothing to do with the helmet itself, right? So yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Someone had commented about, you think for the money you should expect it to work right, but that's when you were talking about the comm. You don't have to buy the Vibe comm. If you've got a group with all Sena riders, buy the comm. Sure. If you're going to use Uclear, don't buy the comm for it. No, I was fortunate enough that it was kind of thrown in the mix. So they're kind of looking for a bit of a review on it. So, he tried that. So the other cool thing is my favorite right here. That's awesome. So it's got a flip out magnetized light, map reading light. So, which is so much better than the oxygen's light. And obviously it's got the rear light, nice. So E-Link still great. Yeah, E-Link works great. I love the E-Link. E-Link is changing to me, like, and Shannon, where it runs on oxygen, and it's just after again running the Delta, trying the 509 with the cord. I tried to run it through the jacket, but the problem is the cord comes through to the what is it here? It comes to the left side. So on the Skidoo coats, the E-Link connectors are up the right side of you, and then the cord has to go out the middle. Well, there's no E-Link things for the other the other cord, so it just didn't really jive with. Yeah. with me.
You really like this helmet though. You said that you thought it was like an oxygen that flips up, right?
And I don't think that looks as goofy. I like the look of that helmet a lot.
No, it's a cool looking helmet, and then once it gets a wrap, it's gonna look even better, right? So
wonder who could do that.
It will.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to reach out. I'm gonna have to reach out to someone and see if he can wrap this up for me. The only thing I did find, like, I'll be honest, was there is a bit of air leakage. It's a modular, right? Like if you look at the oxygens, they seal really well around the visor, right? Like this, you know, like you can see there's still there's little gaps and stuff. So like, I don't know, like compare both, like what do I like best? There's pros and cons, obviously, to both. I don't wear glasses, so I couldn't obviously test. It does have the little like glasses compatible type thing or whatever in there, and it does come with all the ear muffs and noise canceling stuff. Is the oxygen? It's essentially a modular oxygen helmet, like.
Which some people would want, because actually one of the things I don't like about the oxygen is when you want to stop and have a drink of water, if you have that nose cone piece in, you got to take the nose cone piece. But even then, you're still kind of like this, eating and drinking with your head facing downward. So I do agree that that's a huge plus of having a modular.
So I'm seeing Ron. Yeah, I was just gonna say Ron says the oxygen's better with like I said, I don't wear glasses, so I can't comment on the glasses part.
Yeah, and I wear glasses, and I find that unless you have the vents open in the oxygen and you modulate the opening and closing of the visor as you stop, and I talk a lot because I'm, usually talking about on the video or I'm talking on the comms, so it's that's the thing. So. Yeah, this comment here, Scott, we're crazy spending $1,000 for helmets that leak fogs and doesn't latch properly. That speaks to the other helmet we talked about. There's no fogging or anything like that. Air movement is kind of the thing that modular helmets are kind of prone to, right?
Yeah, like I don't know what else.
My old modular, I found it good with wearing glasses because it had so much air circulation in it. It didn't fog up the lens. But you had that goofy face mask on. What did you pulled a rubber piece out of there? What was that you took out of that?
It's right here. 1 second here. So I didn't even try it. So this piece here, it goes. That's
almost like the mission, right?
It's a nose piece. Yeah. So I don't know if. I guess I could put it in. Personally, I don't like these things. So I took it out right away without even trying it. I'm wondering if you put this in and you don't need to plug it in. I wonder if it deflects the air from the visor and then it won't fog and then you don't have to plug it in. Maybe like, cause I don't really see the point of this. If you don't need it, I didn't use it all weekend and never fogged once. There's got to be.
Could be onto something though with the not plugging it in thing though. Having the vents open, not plugging it, or maybe vents closed or something like that. With that, I don't know.
Yeah, because we all know the oxygens. As soon as you unplug it, it fogs, right? So,
yeah, if you've ever had an E-Link issue with it at the sled before, which she's been known to, it is like it takes like 5 seconds, or you leave your sun visor down when you're stopped having a chat, and the helmet's unplugged. That thing is iced up by the time you get riding again. That's another thing I think the oxygen is great and also faltered for.
So you go ahead, Gary.
No, you go finish that one.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I know a lot of guys love the mission because there's no, obviously, because there's no cord. They don't have to plug it in and this and that. I mean, the cords to me have come a long way. Like I said, I run a Skidoo coat, Skidoo helmet, Skidoo obviously, and everything is so. It's good. Like everything, you run the cord up your coat, the cord's gone. You run the E-Link, so you plug your cord in at the beginning of the day, and you never have to touch it again. Like especially with the modular. Now, like I take my helmet off for lunch, and then the rest of the time I just flipped it up and just talk and shoot the shit and whatever. And and the plug, like I don't understand what the big deal is with the plug-in thing. Guys walk away from their sled and then they rip the cord, and well, that's all changed with the E-Link. So
I think it's a lot to do with it. You're not going to go buy that helmet or oxygen. I think if you have a Polaris, Yamaha, or Arctic Cat, it's a lot harder. I think the E-Link system is great. Like, you step off your sled, you just take the key with you, and it has the little clip on your jacket that you can clip the actual the actual desk key into.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I love that the E-Link like that, but I feel like that's a big thing, because even when I was on the 09 E-Tech with the standard RCA, the amount of times I walked off that sled and the cord was like yanked off the helmet, it's like, oh. Yeah. But I think that's a big thing. That might be the thing. And Sled 519 said Skidoo ecosystem is well thought out, which is exactly correct. They do their due diligence. All the accessories work really well with each other, but not with other brands.
Yeah.
Right.
Other brands of machine, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still using the E-Link because I have a Skidoo with the 509, because you just have to plug the cord into the desk cord, right? So, I mean, that was still all good to me. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have E-Link on the sled, then yeah, it adds a cord and another tether and another plug-in, right? So, that could be a problem for some people. So, but I don't know. But
yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of neat that you got to see it's kind of neat that you got to try both of them, and I'm not an early adopter, and you and I had you and I had chats about it, and I was like, I'd like to wait and see what they perform like, and I really like that Advex when I looked at it in Energy, and it's like I love my modular, but the only thing I didn't like is when it was really cold, where the hinge was on it had air leaks, so you got cold. You got kind of like an ice cream headache, right? Brain freeze. Right. And the other thing is a rubber mask, which you've eliminated with that one. So I looked at your helmet, and I thought it was a really good. I love that light, and I loved everything. And I like how I didn't know you could ride it without that rubber flap. So I think you've kind of probably paved the way for people going, hey, I didn't like that rubber flap, but now I know I can remove it, and it's not going to fog, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, and it literally, there's got hard plastic, I don't know, nipple things that kind of just push in, and then you pull it out. It's adjustable, so you can actually pull this thing, and it's got a plus and a minus in it. I think nice. It pulls it closer. It pulls it closer to your nose or away from your nose. So.
And that's the way the Mission kind of is. It has two little straps that you click to get it perfectly fitting on your cheek. SledTube said that he heard that the flip visor being independent is a deal breaker for people, and he's interested to see if Skidoo updates it on the next generation of helmets. Could be.
It's possible. I think personally the deal breaker is the cost. Like, it's one thing, Skidoo says. So it's funny because, they say M-Forge. It's lighter and stronger.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, right? Well, it's funny because when they brought out the oxygen, everyone's, it's M-Forge, so it's top of the line, it's high end. Well, Mission comes out with a carbon fiber, and then, all this stuff. And next thing you know, oxygen has a carbon fiber. Well, I thought M-Forge was better than carbon fiber. Right?
Yeah.
But it's because people don't know what M-Forge is, so they can market carbon fiber easier.
Right.
That's
so,
consumer thing.
So it's, so they're going to try and say, look, I can get a carbon fiber oxygen now. So now they sell a bunch of those, but it's just one of those things. So I probably next gen, you're going to see a carbon, like depending on the sales and what they want to do, but there's probably already a carbon fiber Advex.
And then someone had a thing. Has anyone heard if there's anything coming to make the Sena work with Uclear? And Corey, you were talking about that when we were riding, about that and how you had some insight on that. You heard something about that somewhere?
So they're very good at. So I've reached out to Cardo, I've reached out to Uclear and Sena, all within the last month and stuff, and asking questions. And Uclear, to be honest, was like the most informative. I just send an email, and they got back to me, and they tell me how to hook, pair it. You do this to this one, and you pair it. And like I said, I had them all paired. Because I have 2 U-Clears and now I have the Cardo, and I paired them all and they were working great in the house. And then for some reason, I don't know if there's some kind of interference. It might have something to do with what I talked about yesterday with in the U-Clear. As soon as I hook my magnet to the back of the helmet, I get a little buzzing noise in the U-Clear earpiece. Now, maybe that's something that's happening with the Cardo. Because it worked great in my basement, right? And then all of a sudden I go out and we got 2 running, and then I hook the sled up and all of a sudden it's crackly and it doesn't work.
Yeah, because you were asking me about that, and I said I get that in the U-Clear as soon as you clip the helmet. It even says actually on your tag, at least if it's a brand new E-Link, you'll see it. Even mine came with a little sticker in the box. It basically says that it will interfere with pacemakers. Like if you have that thing for, what is that when you have
diabetes?
The mountain, your avalanche stuff, and it'll interfere with anything that uses like communication. So like that's why if I have my phone connected through Bluetooth, like for example, and I step close to another unit, it starts getting crackly. They're really sensitive to interference because they're the Bluetooth, the magnetic stuff. So that is a point to be made. That could be why, but that seems like something that they should have looked into. That does not seem something that the consumer should have to find out.
Sena, I think when I reached out to Sena last week, as to the, trying to hook them both together, I could probably pull up the reply I got, actually, because he was talking to me again today. It's Sena.
But I don't need coal. I need diamonds.
I don't know. Here it is. I had an error code. I was trying to update it, and there's not a whole lot of. So with the U-Clear and the Cardo, they actually have apps, and Sena has an app. They have a couple apps, and you can go in and you hook your Bluetooth, your communicator to the app, and basically you go in and you got all your settings. So bass, treble, left, right, noise canceling, overlay, voice commands. This Vibe communication system has one thing, and I think it's a balance left and right. So when I wrote that to Sena, basically he said that's a discussion to have with BRP themselves directly, since that's how they requested it from us. We chatted a bit about this on our ride, and maybe Sena, maybe there's something going on, like they want to try and keep they're good products or whatever you want to call it to themselves, right? So
they want to make, because it's actually, again, Sled 509, their ecosystem whole thing. They want everybody that you ride with to be in their ecosystem as well.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of it's not just them doing it in terms of a broader scope of the world, but it is pretty silly.
So it's an extremely basic unit, I think, is what it is. And it doesn't have the capabilities. I don't know what Bluetooth mesh it is, like 5.0 or something. Apparently it only has like 2.0 or something like that. So
yeah, and because I even asked you, I said, so does he have like an equalizer for your music? Because everybody's got that, and you said no, and it's like
no.
Yeah, the U-Clear app is pretty sick. Like you can set the amount of cancellation, the engine noises that you have.
Noise suppression.
You can have your music overlay, so whenever someone's talking, it'll like kind of fade it out, which I don't like, but some people may. And they got all the different features. Like I even saw there was an echo cancellation that is in beta right now on the app, where so then when you stand next to someone talking to them, you don't hear them through microphone and back and forth like that.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Which I thought we should try the next time we go riding. It's just that every single comm in the group has to have that switched on, or it doesn't work.
Right.
So we'll try that out. We can get back to the people on that. What else should we talk about? Because he's just setting up the fan photos right now. Sorry guys, we're a little bit late getting back today, but
yeah. So again, like out of the 3 helmets that I've picked, I think maybe minus like, minus 20, minus 30 or whatever, I would probably still use the oxygen. And then, because it's hot, it runs really hot. I find I don't wear a balaclava in it. But and then the Advex, it was great. What were we like, minus 3?
Yeah, minus 15.
The mornings were minus 15, minus 10 or whatever. But once it got warm, it was great. I was constantly messing with the vents and stuff, and so
yeah, it's a new helmet. You're getting used to it. I mean, that's how I think that's a lot with the oxygen, was kind of just getting used to how, do you want the vents open or closed on certain mornings and how cold it is. But
if you didn't own an oxygen and you're in the market for a new helmet and you have a choice between Advex and oxygen, where's the smart money? Like what would you, does it depend on if you're a smoker or a trailside?
Because Galitz last night was with us, and he's like, yeah, I smoke clearly all the time, with his oxygen. So I don't really know how to answer that. Like, I mean, this thing, would I buy this for the retail price? No, I wouldn't. This helmet, I think, goes for $11.99 or something like that. The comm is $450, and then even the little light on the sides is $79.99. So, with tax and everything, you're just south of $2,000 for a helmet. Like, I don't know, like, and really, the oxygen now, you can get them for like, they're usually on sale for like, I don't know what, $700.
$699 kind of thing.
30% off all the time. So is and then you throw your own U-Clear on there for $300 or whatever it is, and so is it worth the money? No, I don't think it is. Like, is it a great helmet? Yeah. I don't know.
I guess if you got it on sale, though, if you got it like as an auction,
there's always 40% off and 30% off. So, that brings you down, to the regular price, probably, or whatever, close to the oxygen. So, yeah, I would probably pick one up at that price, but the price point's kind of steep. I don't know. So,
yeah, Nathan M says he sold his oxygen for an Advent. Sled 519 says, aren't non-modular helmets considered safer than modular helmet from a front impact perspective? Do you know much about that, Corey?
I have no clue. What I would think was, if it was to me to guess, I would say yeah. I would say oxygen, like the non-modular, would be safer than a modular. I mean, like, I don't know. It depends. Like, all that really holds it is just a little metal clip and a pin and stuff. And
yeah,
I don't know, so I will compare weight. I'll do like a little weight comparison like someday. I'll just for shits, because I have a medium oxygen and I have a medium Advex, and I can take the visor off, and I put the U-Clear back in that one, and I could do a pretty close comparison weight test. Just for, I mean, they're both classified as their M-Forge technology. So, it's the same materials and whatnot. So, visor inside, neck curtain, comms, right? The only difference is the visor and stuff. So, like the sun visor.
Yeah. We didn't have much sun to try that out, but I know with the Mission, I rode it with the visor one day in the sun, and it was cool to have. And like that one, like the Advex, you could click it down lower or higher depending on where the sun was coming.
Yeah, this has the two, right? So
yeah,
when it's up, I can't see it, like literally in my line of view, and then when it comes down, I can just see like half inch of the top. So I feel like it would probably work a little bit with the sun, or you just flip the sun glasses down and.
Yeah,
I personally think it was just looks, right?
Yeah,
Like it's really just for looks, like, because if you took it off and kind of placed it on the oxygen, it would look pretty much the same. But
yeah, that's cool.
Well, listen, I've got the fan photos on deck, and we got a bunch. Drew sent me all the ones he took over the weekend,
And I got a video one there too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll play, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah,
in a
it
second
probably
here,
will. We'll see.
Well, actually, hold on. I got one more question regarding the helmets there, Cor. Is
Sure.
there anything that Skidoo could change on the Advex that would make you say it's on par with the Oxygen or your preferred helmet? That's a good question.
That's a great question, dude.
I was thinking about that.
They would change.
Yeah, like something that they could either add or remove that would make you, or actually probably add in this case, maybe, that would make you pick that over an Oxygen. Like as maybe a consumer, if, let's say in 2 weeks' time at the reveal, they do make a change to what, like, and that happens to be the change. That's kind of my question. What would you change?
Well, I maybe.
And price point cannot be the answer.
Because we've already.
Yeah, if the helmet was $150, yeah, I'd buy that over an Oxygen any day of the week.
What you know what I did find, I think, because I did try the sun visor a few times, and like the flip down thing inside, it fogged up when I stopped, as some of them do. So personally, I'm not sure if when I flip it back up and flipped it back down like I used to do with the Oxygen, it didn't clear it. So I don't know if they're calling this the same heated garage as the Oxygen has. So I mean,
I don't think they are.
I wish I knew why this one is so much more money than the Oxygen. Like I wish I knew why this one's costs so much more. Like I get it. There's a few more bells and, like, not even bells and whistles, but there's a few more.
The light's cool and the visor's
The light
nice.
is wicked. I love that.
I like having a peak visor. It makes the helmet look less like a meatball.
Yeah, or a bowling ball.
I think Joel was talking about Spaceballs a little bit, and looking like Lord Helmet with an Oxygen on.
Yeah, see, LaPointe says, it's pricey. It's pricey. It's definitely a pricey helmet. You can't deny that.
So is the Oxygen to a certain extent in terms of helmets. Like when the Oxygen came out, that was everybody's thing. It's, this is a great helmet, but had to get rid of that second kidney.
When you get that in carbon fiber too, the Oxygen goes up to 900, is it not?
Yeah, I think it's like $899 or something like that.
Yeah.
So all terrain. I have a $200 helmet, goggles, and calm. And I have no complaints. Yeah, hey, what? If that works for you, sure, that's great. I don't know. Like I used to try I have a 10-year-old 509, goggle mask.
Combo, like a mountain helmet,
motocross style.
Yeah.
I tried it because I thought it looked cool and everything, and I didn't like it personally. I have the matching goggles that go in there with the nose piece, and it just wasn't for me. It was light because it wasn't much to it, and it looked good. But I don't know. I just found it just wasn't my style. So I like it again. I like the look. It looks cool. Kind of why I like the Advex. So
yeah,
it kind of goes back to that. It kind of goes back to that more moto-ish style with bringing back the peak, because I don't think Skidoo's really done that, except obviously for their mountain helmet, the standard moto style. Because they just don't really do that. I do like that helmet quite a bit. My last experience with I'm going to say modular using air coats was a BV2S, and I know a lot of people. I absolutely hated that helmet. I think that is one of the worst.
Well, we had two BV2s.
We had two that were both duds, and we had one that was good.
The one was, that's right.
We had one good one, but he got it used and smelled like cigarette smoke. Cologne. That was it. Smelled like the guy's cologne. So we got rid of it and bought a new one, and it leaked, had all these issues. He tried replacing the valves. That is what I like about that, is they decided not to double down on that whole modernish breath box style, because that's the one thing that the Oxygen has. No breath box is the best thing that's
that's why I took it out of this. And I've walked up to guys, and they're wearing the BV2 and it you flip it down and they got the jet fighter thing going on, but they also have
helmet
condensation stuff frozen condensation and all that stuff all over their jacket. And I'm like, I don't know.
The snotsicle coming out of the nose piece. That was always funny.
I know it's just condensation, but it's like, I don't know. It's not for me.
Oh, BB2X was like the first one to get the tail light and stuff. So they obviously took that kind of concept of making a less dependent breath box helmet. And it came out with the oxygen and now this. So, I mean,
I'm sure they obviously still use some of the same kind of technology and stuff, right? Like, and that's like the mission. Like if you got, like, if you don't want to plug it in and you want the, and you're okay with that thing on your face, and so be it, like, then that's
true. Yeah.
So I don't know. I've never tried the mission. And if someone wants to, I take a medium. So if someone wants to,
if CKX, if you're,
I'd love to try a mission. Just to
everyone has really good reviews about it. So I mean, it has to be a good helmet.
I think it is the contender for the mission. The oxygen and the mission are the two to beat, and the Advex is kind of the answer to it, right? Like, trying to be the answer to it, whether it succeeds or not. You can't fault BRP. I think it's still a great product, and I think they're continuously improving their products, which is kind of cool to see that they actually seem to care.
Yeah.
So
I just like the field of view out of all the BRP helmets. Now, is that any different with that? Because obviously I didn't wear that helmet.
It was wicked. Like, it's
identical.
Like,
I love that, because like that was the thing with the oxygen, that the whole.
The only thing different would be this, right? Like,
you lose but you have that thing on the oxygen helmet, the wind guard for the nose. You have that there anyways. You have that still on your helmet. You have it.
Like me.
Yeah. Or Shannon's doesn't have it either.
No, we took those out, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so like I said, it's great. It was great. It was, JL asked me like, as soon as I got home, how was the helmet? So, he's got one. He just hasn't had a chance to use it because there's no snow and he's busy. So, he wanted to know how it is. So here we are.
All right. So we're ready with the fan photos now, guys. Sorry, but
and then we'll talk about chasing snow and our experiences with Airbnb versus hotels and
my first experience in Quebec and all that kind of stuff.
So
what it was like, difference between Ontario and Quebec.
Yeah.
Any other? Let's just see. Did we miss any questions? I was monitoring the chat.
You can watch the questions when we go into the fan photos.
Sure.
I'll get the fast track stuff going, and away we go. Fan photos are brought to you by Fast Track Snowmobile Traction. This season, quit sliding sideways on the ice and losing races to your buddies. A Fast Track stud kit will help you with improved braking and give you the arm-ripping acceleration you crave. I put over 3,000 clicks last season on my Renegade 850, and I'll tell you, these studs exceeded my expectations. Not one broken stud, my Ida wheels still look like new, and they hooked up like I was on rails in the twisties, inspiring confidence every ride. Fast Track Top Gun kits are the highest rated stud kit at 4.9 stars with over 230 reviews. The studs are heat treated stainless, so they are strong and they don't rust. The kit is lighter, easier on the track, and has a lifetime warranty against breaking. Each kit comes with a track specific template for complete balance with over double the scratch lines from stock templates. All listeners when purchasing a stud kit can get a free install kit, a $30 value. Visit fasttrack.co, add both products to the cart, and use the coupon code SNOW at the checkout. That's fasttrac.co. All right.
There we go.
Bear with us, guys, just for a second. One more second.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing this. Well, we're doing.
You're doing good for only getting this together about 5 minutes before the podcast.
We're talking,
and we haven't had any helmets. We haven't had any break, like no internet go down. I knock on wood, right? But
no, we want. Hopefully we don't. Yeah. So, no, that's always an issue here. So, yeah. So anyway, we got a good time in the La Belle Province, Quebec. Like there was some questions. It was 7 hour. Yeah, it was a 7 hour drive, and it was worth every kilometer. But
not penny, just kilometers,
yeah,
apparently.
But we got our trailer ready to go. I got a compliment from Corey driving behind me that he thinks it's the first time he's seen all the lights working on it.
And then we had to point out that there's still one light on the Christmas tree. That
it was a marker light that, who really cares if the marker lights don't count?
Yeah. There's one light on the side that won't light. So I'm taking.
Normally I have to follow behind you. 100. I got to follow behind you so that no one.
You're gonna match our braking patterns and stuff. Yeah, we know how it goes.
But we took your advice and did the interior lights, which you can see in this picture.
Looks good.
And they look great. Yeah, those are Amazon specials, and they're awesome. They're totally changed the trailer. So now I just gotta figure out.
Are those super clips from motojungle.ca? That
they are on the wall there. Yeah,
those are pretty cool too.
I wonder,
is that a super clip broom holder?
No, but I should work on one because that's a whole.
I would take one of those in a heartbeat. Just saying.
Yeah, I'll make one for you because the ones on the wall there holding my broom doesn't work.
Well, one of them is broken, so it's one-legged. All right, so so we headed up to Quebec. This was I'm getting there. It's a good trip. So we were heading up to Ferme Neuve, which we now know means new farm or new barn. And this was on our way. This is at a random gas station along whatever highway it is in Quebec. Who really cares? No one really even cares, anyways.
Yeah.
No, but this is pretty cool. This is a Nordic.
What's that, Corey?
So just in case you want to go up and look for the snowmobile, it's a long highway number. I was kidding. But.
Yeah. Well, if you go up to Messines or Mount Laurier, you would have passed this little side gas station shop. They had banners all around it, Skidoo banner and Polaris and all the brands. Pretty cool. But yeah, this was sitting out front, so I thought I'd grab a picture on it.
And we threw it in the back of the truck for Massart, so he can pick it up next weekend.
There you go.
Put some smart leafs on it.
Yeah, that's right. But Massart says for sale, LOL. Yeah. Drew is on J Massart's sled, Bobby O says. So there you go. So this is our accommodation for the weekend, and it was an Airbnb Corey picked up, and we always talk about hotel versus Airbnb, and the last few times we've gone anywhere, we've done the Airbnb route, and we saved ourselves a pile of money, right? You want to get into it, Corey, since it's kind of
let's do that. Let's get into that.
So I seem to take the reins. Whatever, it's good. I don't mind. Basically, when I'm looking for a place, an Airbnb, normally what I would do is I will contact. A lot of the times, the host will have go through their pictures, and if you see a snowmobile trail on the picture, it's normally because there's trails close by. Obviously, a lot of they'll say activities. It'll say snowshoeing, rinks, whatever, skiing, and then snowmobiling, whatever. So I'll message the host, and I'll say like, how close is the trail, or is there snowmobiling? They'll say, yep, it's 100 meters down the road. For instance, this one here, the guy said it was like 200-300 meters. It was a little bit. It wasn't terrible because there was a little bit of snow on the side of the road, but I'd say it was like maybe half a kilometer. But again, it wasn't bad. I mean, I'd rather do that than load up my sled and in a trailer every time we go. So so basically I'll ask how close it is, whatever, and then normally I would go on with this, for instance here, the FCMQ, the trail app, snowmobile app for Quebec, and then I just kind of cross-reference where it is, and then okay, it's great. So then obviously the next thing you got to do is parking. What kind of parking is there enough? What do you have for trucks and trailers? I have a 16-foot, and I got a regular bed crew cab truck, so it's pretty long. Gary's got his truck and trailer and stuff, so you got to make sure there's enough parking. You ask and you tell them what you have, right? So this one worked out. It was actually worked out really good. There was parking up top here for the sleds, like you see, and then you can actually see Gary's truck behind his head.
Right there.
The truck and the trailer's here.
Right there.
And then my stuff fit behind that, which was down like a little laneway. So, you know, and then a 2-bedroom, 1 queen bed for the wife and I, and there was a bunk
and a
bed.
single bed for me and Dad to spoon in.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
No, it was a bunk
a
bed.
lazy boy.
Yeah.
So and then it had a wraparound deck. It also had a fire, fully stocked fire. It had kindling, lighter, paper, logs, everything. So we had fires every night. And yeah, it was great. And this cost, I'll be honest, 3 nights. The whole thing was 770 Canadian. So it's, you know, $200 a person for 3 nights. Food, we just cook our own food. We kind of keep it light, easy. No one really wants to cook after, you know, 8 to 10 hours riding or whatever the case may be. So yeah, and then that's really it. So Airbnbs, personally, you know, like hotels, you know, you're gonna get $200 a night, and then you got to eat out and all that stuff, and
you
whatever the
cramp,
case
and
may
you don't
be.
know what you're getting. Yeah.
You don't get a whole lot of space, and, you know. So I don't know. This just kind of fits the whole point, like the whole part, right? Like they got the cottage, you got the lake, you know. You get a hotel, and you're like, oh, cool. Look at the parking lot, right?
Yeah,
we
got a big area to relax. There's TV with a Roku unit there, and everything, and
coffee makers and everything.
Yeah. So. And just going back to the parking situation, the reason Corey pointed that out is last year we got an Airbnb in Quebec, and we rolled in the dark, and there was no place to park, and we had one truck with a 17-foot, was it 23-foot trailer?
23,
yeah, 23-foot Vinos, and there was no place to park, and you know, we go in there in the pitch dark, we couldn't find a place, and in Quebec, it's, especially in this area, it's French, so there's very few people speaking English, and it was very tough to find out where the unit was, because we couldn't find the cottage, and then when we did find it, we couldn't park anywhere. It was way down.
No way we were backing the trailer down and then trying to get it back out again, and it was
a real steep incline down to the lake, and we ended up, the neighbor let us park the trailer. We had to unhook the trailer. Well, we parked it in front of his big drive shed, but it wasn't idedeal. We had to ride.
We had to do
load the sleds.
Yeah. It was like 20.
We loaded the sleds with 20 bins. And,
yeah. It wasn't great. I mean, again, it worked. It was a nice place.
Where we're standing on the road to take this picture, and when I say road, it's a little cottage lane, 1-lane deal. Very quiet. Your neighbors know everything going on. If you drop a pin, they know. But we're standing on the lane taking this shot, so we could just pull up and unload right there, and away you go. So it's important questions to ask is the parking situation, and clarify where it is, especially when there's a communication breakdown like this as well.
I just like this more because, you know, I think it was Corey that said it, where it just feels, you feel better, I guess, because you're not like in like a hotel cramped and you're waking up to a bare parking lot. We are on a nice dirt road. There's a beautiful lake out there. It's just relaxing. You can wake up in the morning, have your coffee or Red Bull in my case, and have a beautiful view. Or a beautiful sunset in this case, because that's kind of the time we rolled in.
Yeah, it was nice. It was definitely nice.
Oh, soft focus, Corey. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, I love the soft focus. I'm too cheap. Well, I buy too many helmets, clearly, and I can't afford an iPhone.
So we can't afford the camera work. I get it.
Yeah.
This was so when we pulled in, we decided, you know what? Let's just we first actually started. Let me preface. We went out and bought our day passes first for Friday. Right, Corey?
Yeah, that's right.
Then we decided, let's go. But Shannon didn't want to spend the $95, so she thought she'd stay at the cottage and just relax for the night after driving. So me, Corey, Gary hopped on the sled and said, let's put some kilometers on. Let's feel out the trails. Let's see, you know, are these stories that we're hearing on Facebook true? And they could not be more wrong. For what, like it was like thin. And you have a few like rocks, so your skis are going every once in a while. But honestly, man, for this winter that we've had, it was already well worth the drive just for that night. It was really reassuring for us too that, you know, this is going to be a good weekend. This is well worth our drive. You know,
we always have a lot of laughs riding at night. You know,
this
was our first time that we rode with Corey this year, and I said the band's back together, man, and away we
Boys
go.
are back in town. This is an awesome photo. We had the new ride lights. If you move your head,
This is a good point here.
Sorry.
Sled Tube. Every time I've gone to Quebec and stayed in a hotel, there's a hockey tournament group also staying there. The kids are up and running down the hall, always all night.
Yeah,
long.
but aren't you also Sled Tube? Like once you get a couple brewskis in you, aren't you also doing that as well? So no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So that's another reason to stop. Like get an Airbnb. There's a ton of them out there. Like
It's
so.
private.
The other thing too we noticed was I'm doing maps on the BRP Go app, routes and stuff, and I zoom in, and for some reason when I zoom into where the cabin was, there's a little picture of a house, and it's so basically all the Airbnbs, they name them. This was something Pines. I don't know. I don't remember. Lac de Pines or something. So when you go on Airbnb or BRP Go and you look at where you want to start from, this particular Airbnb was on BRP Go. So you could literally just use that as your starting location, and go from there on making your route, which is a lot easier too. So
Sorry, I wonder if I can. Oh gosh, because it's a satellite map.
and it's green. Yeah, Drew is pulling it up on there. Those handguards lights look sweet in the snow. They do, but you know what the thing is? Us and Galitz are the only ones that had those lights. And I thought being in Quebec, we'd see a ton of these LED lights for the signal lights for signaling how many riders are in your group, or if there's riders behind you or not. And we were the only ones with them, weren't we, Corey?
Yep.
So here, that'll work now. I
really
think.
do hope they catch
there you
on.
go.
So if you see the trail, the blue line, if you see that that first place right there on my finger, that's actually the Airbnb. So you can actually see the road that we rode down to get to the trail. So that's actually really good. That's cool. And also if you look, there's another Airbnb right there.
If you just click those, if you click, I think you could can you click on those? Yeah, it actually, there you go. That's our Le Pine Doors or whatever. So
Yeah.
that was our place. Super handy. I had no idea that they were on there, and I don't know who finds them, or if the host, Airbnb host, contacts BRP, or I have no idea, or they look. I don't know. Maybe there's someone looking at Quebec, because I don't think I've seen that ever on the Ontario. Like if you go slide over to.
Oh yeah, I was just going to show. This was one town over. Look at all those houses, and those are all spots like that. But yeah, like I don't think that I've seen that in OFSC, and it might be something to do with how strict they are with like what gets put on the app.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother can of worms that we went into. That'll be maybe we'll get into that a little bit later about what we thought about the differences. But yeah, this is just some night photos from that night ride. We put on 60 clicks that night, which that was a good,
saw the groomer.
hour burn with gating fuel. Knock the cobwebs off a little bit after not riding for a couple weeks here, and make sure everything's, because we did a bunch of changes. He put an outer carbide on his skis to try to help his steering issues, which we will be getting into. There was just a few things, right? And it's just good to get your toes a little wet, get ready for the next day.
Yeah,
gets you all frisky thinking about it.
For sure. No, it's pretty cool. And the neat thing is, like in Quebec, like this little town where this photo was taken, or outside of this town where we went and got gas. I mean, they had a little groomer shed, and there was 3 big groomers going.
Oh, it wasn't a little groomer shed. It looked like a decently sized fire hall, and then you have 3 groomers reversing out of it, like
it's insane,
coming out like an army getting ready to go. And it's like, oh, this is the place to be. Like, we're
super impressive. Like,
yeah,
it's mind blowing to me there.
Yeah. And this is Uncle Buck says, I think those lights are brilliant, and I need some for my Polaris. And you can get the LJE Enterprises one, which do the same as this. These are the Ski-Doo ones that work with their integrated handguards. And then we just took this picture to show the white version, the orange version, and the green version all together, and you can see they're pretty bright.
And if I move over, you can actually see how much that lights the trail. Oh, there.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, you see these for a good distance. I mean, we've never seen them oncoming, so this is my assumption that they look pretty good from far away. Like when I put my handy mirror up, or in this case, my fixed Quebec mirror, I could see the lights behind me at night. I could see that his light was set. Oh, is your light set correctly? Oh, yeah, it's set to green. I can see it.
Yeah.
So I just got a message from someone listening behind the scenes. It says our Airbnb is on BRP app now because we used it as our home location. So I think if you set where you are as a home location, it might come. That's what might be triggering BRP Go.
So if you put a cottage on there, it will show on the BRP app.
Yes.
So you better be careful if you don't want your cottage.
That doesn't sound right though, because that wouldn't make any sense. Because I don't even know if you can actually set them as home. You can save places as like a star. I don't know. I don't know if you can.
No, you can. Well, you can put a set as my start.
That sounds like a whole privacy issue. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's hard to say. But
it doesn't actually say.
Maybe they mean they set it as home, and then they can just, when they ride back, they can just.
Oh, there it is. You know what it actually says? Where it gets it from? Recommended by Track Maps. So I wonder if it's all through that sort of thing. Like I assume these Airbnb hosts are putting it there. So this is okay. So this is day one. We got split up in the morning. We pulled a bit of an we had a rough morning. This whole day was a bit of a rough day. So to start off, we set off on the trail, and Dad goes, "Hey, did you put oil in the sleds?" And I go, "No." So then we had to turn around.
I thought we were going to talk about this. Come on.
No, that's fine.
It's okay.
There's other things
we're
going to talk about.
So Corey and Shannon broke off and got gas, and then we went back and got oil. This is just us waiting.
We weren't far away. We were a couple.
No, this was just an intersection, but I thought that's a little fun thing. Everyone makes mistakes, even the professionals.
If you look at this intersection, the signage is awesome.
Oh yeah. Like, Quebec, phenomenal. Oh gosh, I keep phenomenal.
How early did you have to book it? You can book it a week out.
We booked it 48 hours before or something, 72 hours before when we changed.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But yeah, the Quebec signage is amazing. It's not like Ontario where they think the signage is maybe incorrect. You know, like maybe a Wile E. Coyote comes along and spins the sign around. Everything was perfectly signed. I mean, I can't read the signs. They spelled their stop signs wrong too. I don't know what that deal was all about.
Yeah.
But all the signage is great. They have arrows to every town. They have arrows to points of interest, like when you're going to Mountain de Diablo or the chutes. It's all there. Shoots to Wendigo. It's all on there.
Yeah. Sounds like it's time to get a 4-stroke, Gary. Forget the oil.
But I can't afford the gas in that. So
yeah.
And then I'll have to get a 300 horsepower tune for it so I can keep up with the other 4-strokes, and then that's a whole other thing. This is still from that first day. So for the first day ride, we had a loop that took us from our Airbnb and took us north into Quebec more. And when we got up to the top of that, 300-something kilometer loop that we had planned, the snow up there was just insane. It was nice and soft off trail too, for those who maybe wanted to know that information. This is closer to, what was that? The Chateau de 100 Locks.
Yeah, Port-Vior 100 Lake.
Port-Vior 100 Lakes.
Or something. Or Lacs.
Yep, which we attempted to stop at and have lunch. But one thing to note when you're coming up that way, pretty much anywhere north, I think, of where we were, which was Lac St. Paul, there's not a whole lot of, at least in that sort of band, like where we were, there wasn't a whole lot of amenities and fuel stops and stuff like that. So when we got across like this one, we got across the lake. And then once we started getting into the bush, there was even actually a sign. I could get the vague gist. It was basically like, for emergencies, here are the mile markers, because we got to a point, we didn't have cell service for probably like 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah.
So, it's good. Make sure, one thing I messed up was I didn't download my BRP Go maps before, which didn't burn me on the first day, but it burned me on the second day, and I had to restart the app and wait to get cell service again. So make sure you download your maps. Then you can find the fuel stops, because it's really true. one thing I learned this weekend was how far a 2018 850 E-Tech goes with its fuel light on, and it's about 100 kilometers.
With no bars.
That is no bars, fuel light on, and it's just like, it's still going to keep going. So yeah, so we went to, what was the place we got fuel?
Lunique.
The Lunique. Great guy that owns it. It was originally, it used to be a restaurant, but probably due to the fact it's in the middle of nowhere and the pandemic.
Yeah, he said he couldn't get staff and
he's too old to stand. He's too sore to stand.
So you could get some sandwiches there, but we got fuel there. Not a bad price, $2.15 a liter. So it's not extremely high priced. Great guy. He's super fun to talk to. And so then we turned around, then we went to the
POWERSPORTS
100 Locks and had a beer and a bag of chips. And yeah.
Look at that.
But that is something important to note when you're up in Quebec is to, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, I guess, in Sudbury, Shining Tree area. You just have to make sure you're planning ahead for that kind of stuff.
Know what's open. Corey, talk about the outfitters as well. We have a video coming up on this, but about food.
Yeah.
On this.
Yeah. So what I was doing before we came up here is I was again on Facebook and social media, whatever, and contacting some of the outfitters. So again, I go on BRP Go, zoom in, and you see a knife and a fork or point of interest or whatever. You click it and it tells you what it is. So Pourviewer Scott, contact them and say, do you sell food and fuel to the public? And they come back and they say, unfortunately, no. So basically a lot of the places are outfitters, so they just cater to their guests. Almost pretty much Sportsman Lodge style.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't like, possibly if you're out there and you're dying and freezing to death, they might hook you up or whatever, but like they just don't do it. So I called, or I messaged like 2 or 3 up there, and there was actually they didn't. So the other thing we found out, back to Drew's comment about the beer and chips, we ended up going to the 100 Lacs, and basically we got there at 2:15. Sit down, everything's great, sweet place, and then they say, oh yeah, we're not serving food. What? Yeah,
after 2 o'clock or whatever.
So yeah, we stopped serving at 2 o'clock and we switch over for our guests. So dinner for guests. So basically close everything down, and then they have to switch, start cooking. So they don't serve to the public for dinner. So what do you have? Chips and pea soup. So the other thing too, we went to Mikko's this time, and we went to Mikko's in Quebec last year. We went for lunch last year and found that their menu was very small. So they had like 5 items on the menu. And I think it's just because, again, Mikko's is another outfitter. They have cabins, they have guests, a lot of guests. So they stopped serve. So we got there last time, Saturday at 5. And sure enough, they stopped serving food at 4. So again, missed out on the food there. So that was strike 2. So you really got to pay attention to your timing. And I mean, you could always bring snacks in your bag.
Oh, but we don't do that. We're the most unprepared snowmobilers to ever put a camera on their helmet.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you can always bring snacks, or even bring your own lunch if you want to save some money. So, but yeah, so just check, do your research. It's all about research, right? Like, which to be fair, you did quite a bit of research looking into that, right? It's not like you didn't. Sure.
It's just
we found we were behind the 8 ball all day that day,
because it was like we missed lunch there, we missed dinner, lunch at Mikko's, and then moving on back to my fuel light thing. It's like, okay, we knew the place that Shannon and Corey got gas in the morning, that we got gas the night before in town. We could make it. I could make it. Sled on fumes, past the groomer shed again, all beautiful. Pull into the gas station, and there's about 4 people getting into a side by side, and that must have been the owners. They closed at 7. It was like 7:05. No gas. So that's another thing too. Is
I think it was actually 7:02 when I looked up.
7:02.
Yeah, it was.
That even hurts me even more.
They were leaving. They were actually walking out in the parking lot when we were there.
So another point is we're about the
Uncle Buck wants our muff pot back. Corey.
Muff pots only work
with
cans. You got to be careful with a can, though, right?
Yeah, they don't. They do not take kindly. And I asked one of the wardens, that outdoor hobby guy, about is the story I read on Facebook, people getting their sleds towed, true? And he goes, yes, that is true. So if you're a real whatever about it, then they will be a real whatever back to you. But yeah, so I don't know if there's just not a night sledding culture about the whole gas station thing closing, but that's a whole other thing. Just be prepared. Obviously, we had gas cans. Corey still had 11 liters, so it's not like we were in dire straits because we were 15 kilometers back, and then we just grabbed.
And mine's triple the price when it's really in need.
Yeah, that's what I was really worried about, was the fact that it was going to be. We're talking Abitibi. He was going to be like Abitibi Canyon prices.
At least, buddy.
But then my pizza would have been the $160 hot dog for you, Corey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Saying that, the guy up north, the guy at Lunik, where we bought the gas, could have charged double what he charged us
for being that he was the only fuel stop for about 200 till Mikos, really, or even further.
Yeah.
I think you got to be careful though sometimes, like, because some people will just say forget it then. Like,
don't use that as a reason not to go. Just
no. But you could put in your 12 liters of fuel and you could probably make it back to a
those trails that were up in that north. They're all old. Like my comment was, it felt like I was on a WRC World Rally Championship stage. It was these really fast flowing turns, massive rollers, and then some tight twisty stuff, and then back into the flow. Super fun trails just to go through. And again, like, we're not even riding with Shannon. We don't do fistful of throttle riding to the bar constantly. Like, I sometimes will lead off in the distance and just do that, but I'll wait. But most of the time we're doing about 70, 80K an hour.
Yeah. I was going to.
And it's super fun. It's a great day.
She really held her own. From a woman's perspective, I guess you could call, like, whatever.
For a woman with a very basic, like, how many years now? What was it? 22 was, or 23 was her first year?
22 was her first years. Yeah. So, but yeah, she rips it. And by the end of the
600 EFI,
300, we did 375 kilometers on Saturday, and she impresses me literally every time we go out.
That's a long day. That's a long day.
I'm getting to the point where it's just like, I'd rather just ride with her than Gary and Drew, right? So
we're starting to ride too much.
Here. We hear that.
We're starting to ride too much, I think.
You.
But it's like, even for women, the trails, like, she loved it. Like, a lot of the times down here, she does start to complain about shoulders and turning and stuff like that. She's not a big girl, so it gets hard, like 300 kilometers or whatever. And she killed it this weekend. Like, and we got home and I'd be like, you feel okay? Oh yeah. I'd wake up. How you feeling? Oh, great. My shoulders are good. And so, yeah. Are the trails smooth north of there and not as tight and twisty as, say Muskoka or stuff like that? And yeah. And they're always, for the most part, they're almost always 2 groomers or a groomer and a half wide. Like, they're, 15,
that's another thing. That's a comment. Yeah, that's good. Now, this bridge, I'd like to call this the Bad Omen Bridge. We were standing on this bridge. Oh, trails are great. And then for the next 30 kilometers, it was
not so great.
But that was it. That was our worst trail for the group this weekend, was that trail after. But there was a groomer coming at us. So it was a busy weekend.
In all fairness, it was what, like 5 o'clock or something like that. We were heading to which is insanely busy place. And then what were we saying? We're driving along. We passed the groomer. The trails weren't perfectly smooth after that because the whoops were just crazy massive. And then, I don't know, 5 kilometers down, it starts to get more rough again as you start to see more tracks going on the freshly groomed, and then it's just, there's no time for it to set, right? It's 5 o'clock and guys are just hammering down on the trail again. And it's not for lack of grooming. I don't think it's just, it's more volume than the grooming issue, right? So
Yeah.
And that's a long remote trail we were on too.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I
for sure.
mean, but yeah, other than that trail, like everything else I thought was great for what it was. So
Yeah, Lapoinski said we're side by sides and ATV out beside the trail. There's some trails where they are next to each other. There's some going up Devil's
cross.
Mountain where it's shared or they cross. And yeah, it's kind of cool. We didn't last year. We seen side by sides running, and it was really neat to see them coming at you, but in a trail on the other side of a tree line kind of thing. But today this weekend we seen side by sides, but we didn't see them in action. They were the one guy was parked at one of the warming huts and that type of thing. So just joined. Who's the guest? This is Corey Brock, Mike.
He's no guest.
He's a big
Part of the
help
Brat
to the
Pack.
show, and yeah, he's part of the Brat Pack, and we were away this weekend, and we weren't planning on coming on tonight, but we thought we'd talk about the new helmet he tried out over the weekend, and also talk about our experience this weekend, and just give a touch base on the lodge sessions, which is coming up very soon. So that's kind of why we turned this thing on tonight. This is Mikos in Quebec, and we got to see. I always said it's like a behind the, you lift up the back curtain kind of thing on it, and see this thing after hours. And we got there late. We missed supper, but the whole place was buzzing. All the little cabins were everybody was partying because it was after the day of sledding, and there was a mini Z running around the parking lot towing a GT snow racer, and a couple of little kids with timber sled kits on their little 80cc dirt bikes, and it was crazy. His name is Corey, and he loves 509 helmets.
509 ambassador.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I don't know. Whatever.
yeah, so but yeah, so Mikos was kind of neat to see him. We went in to sit down to eat, and we were kind of getting hangry at this point in time. And there's a guy playing guitar at the bar, like probably one of the guests of the cabin, and there's a group of guys sitting along the bar that had obviously been there all afternoon, and they were hooting and hollering and singing along with them. It was a pretty good atmosphere. We ended up leaving, and because we couldn't eat, they had stopped serving to the public, and they were just, everybody that was staying there was coming in for their guest meal at 6, I think it was. So yeah, we just decided to go back and eat at our Airbnb. So save a few bucks.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's anything else.
it's a super cool place though. Like,
Yeah, it's very cool.
Would you like to talk about what we have here, Dan?
Yeah, so I think it was 2 years ago we got the Curve XS guys on the podcast, and we ended up getting a set of Curve XS skis for Roscoe at that time, the 600. We had some steering issues, and they were amazing on the 600, and they kind of just went on the shelf. We sold Roscoe. We got the 2018 last year. I had the Pilot TX skis on my 23, so I couldn't really switch the skis without, taking off the little controller on the spindle and all that kind of stuff. And I really didn't mind the Pilot TX skis. I actually liked them, actually. This year, I had a couple comments over the last year, but where's the review on the curves, and where's the reviews on the curves, and how do you like the curves? And I thought, you know what, with all the ski problems that people are having with Skidoo on those AC2 skis, I even commented a guy on Facebook that was looking for, his dealer doesn't have any, and I said, pick up a set of Curve XS, you won't be disappointed. And I thought, you know what, I'll just throw them on. Like, I'm running Koala Pieces Adventure carbides, the 8-inch, and they work good. But I thought, I'll throw the Curve XS on and maybe do a review on it. So I did do a review video, which is coming out on these skis. And on the Gen 5, they were awesome. Like, I love them. I have no complaints with these curves. And so if you are looking for a ski to replace an AC2, or you find the stock Pilot X's aren't performing like they should, I'm telling you that without a doubt that these are great skis. So you won't have any issues with them. I've never really ridden CNAs except on the old 550 we had. I found them really heavy to steer, These don't. These steer very light, and they're always steering where you point it, it goes. To the point where they're acting like my Pilot TXs when I had the carbide adjusted down, 3-4 clicks. So it may lift up, but you can counter skier out of it. It may bite in a little bit, but I'm not pushing corners or sliding off the corners where you might find on stock. The stock 6-inch carbides that were on that sled, they were kind of, you hear the term confidence inspiring thrown around a lot, and the stock carbides I found didn't inspire any confidence. This sled should handle like a race car, and now it does with this. And
those things just look really good.
You really can't go wrong. Like, you're going to run stock skis. I like the Qualipieces TRAC carbides. It's a dual runner carbide. That's what Drew runs. I like those. The adventure carbides work great. It's a little heavier steering. It's like a CNA ski. You had said that analogy last year. It's like having a CNA ski on it. You love the adventure carbides, Corey. You ride a lot more aggressively than I do. But it's pretty crazy. So, I was worried about the width, Joel, of the Curve XS, and that's one of the things that I remember with the 600 is it felt like it was like I had to jam it in the trailer and monkeyed around because the curves are so wide. The Gen 4 and the Gen 5, no issues. They fit right beside each other. There's no skis rubbing. What's that?
I said, really?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, there was no, in my trailer, it was not an issue. And I don't know, what was the 600 a little wider? I'm not sure. Like it was the 22 wider. I don't know. Like it's they fit in beside each other with no, I'll take a picture when I do the video review and show it in the trailer and include measurements, because that was my big concern, because these skis are big, a lot bigger than they look. Yeah, they're huge, it almost looks like I called Drew's a pizza cutter because, well, he's got the little pizza cutter on it, the roller skis, but I called his pizza cutters because they were so thin in comparison to the Curve XS. But
those skis are awesome, man. I raved about them. If you hadn't, at lodge sessions, I think on Thursday night, once we all last year all got a couple beers in us, and me and Massart, I think were talking aftermarket skis, and it was just I just can't say enough good things about them, man. Like, they're just awesome.
Yeah. Well, and there's BAM Customs. TRACs are a game changer. Qualipieces TRACs.
Oh, yeah.
On the 900R, definitely. I talked to Galitz about it, and he was asking, and I said, put TRACs on it as well.
I'm gonna have to try them next time. I'll try them. Yeah.
I left a comment on a Facebook post today. Actually, a guy was asking about, I think it was actually related to the ski. No, it wasn't. It wasn't related to AC2 skis. It was actually a guy asking. He had Pilot TX skis. He said he wasn't happy with the way they're handling. Does anyone have any suggestions? And I left the first comment on it. My two suggestions were either go aftermarket and get a set of these Curve XSs, or get a set of stock Pilot 5.7s or Pilot X's with a set of TRACs on them.
Yeah, yeah. Mike Ashby, Qualipieces carbides, you can't go wrong. And it's true, and that's the thing. Like I've got Drew on video driving with one hand going around corners
at like 80.
It's that easy to steer. I can't wait for Corey to try them, because I know you'll like them, because they do handle really well.
Right on.
And we're not running the outer carbide on Drew's either, which if you put the outer carbide, I think you're even going to be more.
It's like having power steering.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Anyways,
but yeah, it's pretty neat. So.
This is the
river.
No, this is the chutes. This is the top of the chute. There we go. That's the first picture. That's what I want to show. This is one of the stops on so this was day 2. We decided to stay closer to our area for day 2. Me and Shannon had never seen, because these two obviously went and did Devil's Mountain last year. Me and Shannon were not with them, so I wanted to see Devil's Mountain. So they planned out a ride for day 2. I think it was like 260K this day. And yes, we had a couple stops on our route. This was one of them. This is the chutes to Wendigo. It's a pretty cool spot, but a little misleading in the brochure. It kind of looks like the trail goes right past it. It doesn't. It kind of ends at like a small warming shack, and you walk to it. But it's still kind of a cool thing to go see. It's always nice to be able to stop and get off your sled and kind of just have a chat for a second, and this is a kind of a nice little spot to do it. So this is from the bottom of it looking up the chutes, and that previous photo was standing on a bridge on top of the chutes looking down it. So there's a better photo, a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and that's just part of it. It's huge. Like
this is a panoramic where I took it on an angle of just the length.
But the chute that we had, the rock wall, that's only, what would that be?
Half
100 feet? It's not even half of it. It goes way up, and there's another bridge over it. You have to walk into it though, where it's kind of deceiving because on the BRP Go app, it looks like there's sleds parked. I was thinking the bridge goes right across here where that line of rock is. Right there, as it goes down. I was thinking there was a bridge that runs along like that because there's a picture that shows sleds parked on it, and it's like it's definitely Photoshopped because there's no way to even get in that river, So, yeah. But
anyways,
someone was asking about have you heard about Lynx rave skis on a do? Yeah, and both Corey and I know people that are running them and have great
Neil McCall from Energy put him on his sled, eh?
Yeah, right on.
Nice.
They're like a CNA.
Are those the DS2s?
No, they're the Blade. The Blade. They're called.
Oh, they're actually called. Oh, yeah. They're actually called Blade. They're not the same.
He was the TX lover, and so he tried the Rave, whatever, at Halliburton Forest, and then he said he loved the steering, loved everything about it. And so he went out and bought, he's like, I don't think it's the sled necessarily. He thinks it was the skis that were making it the way it handled. So he went out and bought a pair of Blade skis, and he said it's absolutely phenomenal on his Renegade.
Yeah, good to know.
So I don't know. I guess it's something to try maybe sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, Paul Prudhomme's son runs them too, and I see comments on Facebook all the time how much they love them. So so. What's the actual difference between a Ski-Doo and a Lynx besides color? Biggest thing is the Lynx has an uncoupled rear suspension, and it's beefier suspension to the
Pro 40 KYB Pro 46 Pro 40 Rs, I think.
Yeah, Pro 40 Rs. So they're a bigger, like it's a really big 40 millimeter shock, so it's beefy. They're meant to hit big bumps. We ran into a guy, Tim. If you're watching, hey, thanks for stopping us on the trail. Tim is from Ontario, and he's seen our Devil's Mountain videos and said it made him come this weekend. He had a Lynx with a 2-up seat with his wife on the back, and he goes, he loves it because he just gives a little bit of gas and the skis come up. They're wheelie lovers, and the back end just takes all the crap and smooths it right out, and the front just floats over it. So so
and it's got Pro 46s on the front. So the biggest that is the biggest difference. Uncoupled rear end.
Yeah. Kenneth said he just wanted to accelerate technologies. John set up my 22MXZ with smart shocks to ride on rails, stock skis, added carbides, dual rate springs, torsion springs, and adjustable limiter strap. Yeah, that's a good kit that he's got there. It works really well.
You can go forward. So this was one of the lakes we got to. The lakes, for talking about conditions of the weekend.
This one was really bad.
Yeah. So obviously what happened is it got slushy and warm, and people rode across it, and then it became, you're riding on
frozen
between marks. There's only one really soft spot still that we rode across. It was solid across it. It's just really rough, and there was a lot of bare glare ice as well.
And long. I think it's 7K or something like that.
Yeah, it was a while.
Make sure you have your ice scratchers for this.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't put my ice scratchers down all weekend. I ran like 45.
You were on my sled going across this lake, so you don't know what the temperatures were.
It was like I didn't have any issues this weekend. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Anyways.
Lynx tows well behind a Renegade.
Yes, it does, Brian Lynn. Yes, it does.
It does. The Lynx tows well. That was me. Except the bumper, the Renegade bumpers don't last long when you're towing like that. Forward. So.
Oh, that's the chutes again.
Yeah.
Oh, it did miss the. Okay, so you put the Devil's Mountain photos here. Okay, so this is at top Devil's Mountain here. An absolutely crazy spot. It's because I had my elevation gauge on the snowmobile. It's cool because you start at like 200-meter elevation, and then you just go up this. It's not very steep on the one side, but it's kind of gradual. And as you go, the trees just get more and more filled with snow, and then by the time you get to the top, it is like you're in the backcountry in BC. Tons of snow up there. It's a beautiful spot. It's about my sled said 900, BRP goes to 750. It's probably 750. Yeah, just beautiful up there.
Shannon was blown away. Like
I was too. I've never seen this before.
Corey and I were laughing because we have the comms going, and we'd been there last year, and we had the same reaction to each other.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But the second time it's like anything, right? Your second time. The second time we just sat there and listened and relished in Drew and Shannon just freaking out when you come over that last hill. It was just screaming in the comms, and it was pretty enjoyable.
Everything is just white, and it's something to see, man. Like if you, like somewhere to go. If you ever want to see,
look at that view.
Definitely a place to go. Like if it's a good destination spot just to go to Quebec and ride around Mount Laurier. There's so much to see. The restaurants are good. Just the outfitters, just all that kind of stuff. It was an awesome trip. So
here's a little video from the top.
Yeah, that's and I've got the drone footage from last year at sunset, and I didn't really put it up this year because it's just going at sunset, you can't beat that. So we did take some footage, but we'll show you that as it's coming up. So yeah.
How would the good folks at Energy Powersports let a guy like Ashby pass the entrance doors like any other paying customer?
Yeah. Actually, Mike,
super friendly.
Other Mike from Ultimax was in there last week, so he was in there and he asked me who to talk to. So I gave him a list of names, and I haven't had a chance to touch base and see how it went for him. But so hopefully we'll get some Ultimax representation in the house, kind of thing. But yeah, a lot of good responses from that. Everybody's treated like family when you go into Energy Powersports, and it's a great dealership. Lots to look at. You'll schedule out some time during your day because they got a loaded showroom, and you'll be drooling over everything from jet ski, Sea-Doos.
And you always seem to talk to people too. Like you always, and then the next thing you know, you're there. Well, I basically live there, but But yeah, I mean, I see other people go there, and everyone's always chatting with someone or something. Everyone is great at that dealership. So
yeah, just go in right from front reception on in. She greets you with a smile, and it's not very long before you see someone like Dave Collins come up to you and make sure you're doing okay and ask you if you need anything. And it's just like it's so cool. Like it's such a great.
Lounge.
The lounge. If you need a coffee, you can watch some Skidoo videos and that type of thing on the TV. And yeah, it's great. So Brad on the parts counter is a hoot to talk to. If you're an ATVer, that guy is hardcore. You don't have to go too far to talk to a guy. If you want to talk diesel pickups and ATVs and really heavy duty off road, and Brad Messenger's your guy. Mud.
Talk about mud. Yeah.
And if you're looking for, if you're getting ready for your summer season, they have their 2024 Sea-Doo lineup on the floor. They got the new Spark Tricks there. I think they have the
RX TX 325.
They have that on the floor too. They have I think they have all the gear out as well. So if you're looking at starting to get into that, get your mindset. If you're kind of, hey, the winter's not over yet, but if that's what you're into in the summer, you can go start picking out all your stuff for then too.
Yeah, go see Brad Lepoinski says.
Yep.
Joel is going to get an answer from Mike on this. Why don't you have to wash a new Ultramax belt with soap before you run it? Don't they use release agents? You don't have to do anything with that belt. And we just put our belts on and we ran them in Quebec, and we broke them in properly too. It was hard. It was hard to break them in properly because when you start to feel the pull, you want to give it more. So. One thing I wanted to do is actually switch Corey's belt out with mine after I broke it in, but we never got around to doing that. You feel the difference. It's no lie. With the Ultimax, you feel the difference over the stock belt I was running. So it's fun. It puts a little bit more flip in your throttle. That's for sure.
I heard it in the comms all day. So
let it dangle.
Let her dangle.
Yeah.
So
I just pulled that up. Yeah, Ultimax mold releases mold release requires no pre-washing. Thanks,
No,
Mike.
They don't need to be washed because they don't use the waxy, greasy type of mold release. I noticed this the other weekend putting my new belt on.
Your hands stay clean putting their belts on. It's kind of that's a big difference. I didn't even think about that.
And I will say there was chat, just going back to Ultimax's podcast, there was chat about, do I have to put my clickers down, click or whatever, to bring the or up to bring the RPMs down? We didn't have to touch a thing. Our belts were perfect when we put them on because we had the deflection set. If you set the deflection, your belt's sitting nicely. Those 821s now with the new version of them don't need any tweaking on the clickers. They run like a boss right out of the box. Yeah.
So this photo is just from the second day. Corey and Shannon decided that they were kind of getting tired, so they broke off. And then me and Dad finished out the loop that was planned. So the trails near and around Mount Laurier, those are something that people are not lying about. They are pretty much bare dirt, and it's sharp and tall moguls. But once you get out, the further you get away from Mount Laurier, the better the trails got again. So that's just something to look out for and some good to know. But we rode back on, like, we were laughing because we were like, oh, Corey and Shannon went back, and we rode back on a carpet, and the trail all the way back to the house was groomed by that club we were talking about earlier. And so yeah, that last night's ride was a hoot.
Except the one part near Mount Laurier.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
you got to be.
yeah.
I said Mount Laurier.
Yeah,
Mount Laurier. That what people are saying is not a lie. It is down to dirt and it is sharp, steep moguls. So that's something to look out for. But other than that, it's gonna be uncomfortable for 20 clicks.
Yeah, but we went new. If you go north of for Maynooth, you have no issues. Are we back in there?
So there we go.
And this is the best part of coming home.
Explain. I don't understand.
Yeah,
you need to explain this to me.
Yeah, so we went to see my daughter. She lives in Ottawa, and I said to Corey, hey, we're gonna go see my daughter. Drew hasn't seen her new apartment yet, and that kind of thing. So we just set Waze up to go to her place, and it took us off the highway pretty early, didn't it, Corey? Like, I was like,
yeah. So it was funny. It's funny because you're way, like, so you signal light goes on and you start heading down the off ramp, and we continue past. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And then I don't know, 5 seconds later, Shannon sees a McDonald's. So she sees a big M, and she goes, oh, they're going to McDonald's, right? So that's kind of what we thought you did. But did you go to McDonald's anyway?
No, we didn't.
Oh,
we actually, so we headed down that road, and it wasn't too far. We're driving along, and it's fairly straight go. And then we come down this hill, and it's like a river, and it almost looked like there's these big gates and stuff. And Drew goes, what's going on? Like, do we have to turn here? And then we go up to the thing, and there's a guy going like he's going, okay, come on. And it's a ferry. And
that's crazy, man.
Yeah. And so the ferry takes you across the Gatineau River. Sled trailer. We were behind another truck with the trailer. And this is when we're moving out. And I said to the guy, can I get out of the truck? And it just buzzes you across the river. It was $18 for the truck and trailer.
13. So because you pay it's $13 per any car, and then you pay $5 per axle on a trailer.
Yeah, and it's it held, I don't know how many cars would have been on it. It was a small thing, but there's an idea of the truck and trailer and my truck and trailer, and that's pretty much the length of the barge. It's not very big at all.
So Shannon Googled it, Shannon Googled it on the way home. It's cable driven.
Yeah, there's a big cable on the other side. So there you go.
So it just pulls it across and then pulls it back, and vice versa, right? So that was kind of cool. Huh.
But the funny thing is, we didn't even have to wait because it was already at our side of the shore. And it was almost like we're driving along. We were on it before we knew we were even on a ferry.
Because the guy's just like, oh, whatever he was saying. He was speaking French. Like all the stops, all the signs are awful gibberish, so I can't read them. So it's like, yeah, okay, I'll just go. Hopefully it takes us to Ottawa.
It was very cool.
All right, so now that I'm done my 50 photo rant about how great our weekend was. Sorry, guys, I know. Let's get into some photos.
That was cool though. It would have been neat to have both just me and Corey's truck on there because we would have filled the barge.
Oh my God, that would have been cool.
It would have been neat. We'll have to do that next time.
Where did it take you? Like where did
so basically it takes you to the it's a shorter route than going the way that you went. So it takes you basically, and you go down that road and you're on 417.
So you don't have to go through Ottawa and Gatineau, which is a big thing if you're coming from our area of Ontario. you got to go through downtown Ottawa and downtown Gatineau.
Terrible. That was terrible.
Yeah, so you avoid that.
And it's kind of cool as well. Like, how many places can you go where you get on a barge? There's Drummond Island and the UP.
Yeah, it was neat.
But
you know what you should have done? You should have done is unloaded the sleds and drove the sleds on, right? And then
they had a price for 3-wheeler for Rikers and Spiders, and it was like $8. I'm like, oh, I had the roller skis if we had more time.
That might happen.
That'd be pretty fun.
We didn't do your. You forgot the last week.
The
drone.
No,
you didn't get the drone out.
There wasn't actually. There wouldn't have been enough time. I don't think.
You'd have to be prepared.
You'd have to be prepared ahead of time because
have it sitting on your hood or something when you drive on.
Yeah, it would be. You'd have to have it out and ready to go because we basically got on, the gate closed and we were moving. And it's not very. It took maybe a minute, 2 minutes to get across. Not very, maybe maximum 5 minutes. It's not very long. We were to the other side before, we got out to take pictures. By the time we were done taking photos, it was we got to get back in the truck and start it, right?
Because they clear you off. We didn't do our thing where you went through and tell who's in the chat. We missed this last week.
No, I did it.
No, we did not. We didn't do the who's in the chat. No,
I read off comments and everything.
No, we didn't usually go through the names or whatever. You didn't do that today. No,
I did.
No, you didn't.
I can go through it again. All Terrain TV can back in, and Joel Aikner, Lepoinski we mentioned. Mike Ashby was new to the chat. He came in there late. There was another new one, the Diesel Wheel Horse guy. Welcome aboard. That's a new name. Bam Customs is in. Brian Lynn was in. Kenneth Potasalio. He's a new name that I don't recognize. Welcome aboard. Welcome into the shop. Love seeing new faces in here. That's for sure. Greg DeGur. Joel Aikner, Wisco Sledheads, No Bullshit is in there. Bobby O, he's back. We don't have Galitz and outdoor hobby guy because they're riding right now, and they're probably going to be listening when they get back. Pat off Richard, he's in the house. That's a new name. Thanks for joining us. Rob the Oil Guy's back, of course. Uncle Buck. It goes on and on. We're all there. But Greg DeGur sent me in some pictures, and he says, hey, Gary, here's a couple of pictures of my machines. I have a 22 Polaris Titan 800 that I bought last year from Buyers in Aurelia. The sales girl said it was supposed to be the camera sled for SnowTrack's TV, but it didn't show up until the end of March in 22. I bought it then, in the same week the fuel pump recall was announced, so I didn't get it until near the end of December. I've named the beast Large Marge. That's not it there, of course. Let me see if I can find it. It must be that one. Let me go back here. That's Large Marge there. I do a lot of ice fishing. I bought a trail pass last year and did quite a few days of trail riding. I haven't had a pass since the days of my 94 Mach 1 670. I love that. That thing was a weapon. I got a heavy-duty front bumper, an ice auger carrier for Large Marge, as well as a Polaris winch for it. Stuck sucks, and Marge is 605 pounds dry. This is the first new sled I've ever owned and the first sled I've ever spent more than $1,500 on. I have a 93 Arctic Cat Cougar 440, which is what that one is, liquid, that I'm going to hang on to because it's only got 2,600 original miles. The fellow I bought the Cougar from still had the original tags and pamphlets that came in the envelope with the owner's manual. I'm in Peterborough and ride the Apsley Co. Hill Bancroft area. That's all nice area. I listen to the podcast every week in my trip. What's that?
That's still open too. Still yellow.
I know, isn't that crazy? He says he listens to the podcast every week in his tractor trailer when I'm working, and I watch it when I can remember that it's on Monday night at 7. LOL. Keep up the great work, and if anyone's stuck, broke down, or needs a tow, I'm always up to see what Large Marge can do because Polaris says it's got a 1,200-pound towing capacity. The picture of Marge in my garage when I was installing a heavy-duty bumper for the winch, and as you can see, has a radiator with a fan as well as regular heat exchangers. That's kind of neat.
Oh, I want to see that. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it is a Large Marge, but that is an awesome auger holder there. Yeah. Sure. There's the Cougar. That thing looks in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Love Cougars. You know what
I mean? There we go.
Whoa.
There's the radiator. I was thinking that was an intercooler when I first saw that picture, actually. But that's just a rad.
That's cool.
Yeah. Extra protection. The expeditions and the Titans were popular this weekend, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, lots and lots of like the crazy back, like trunks and yeah, all kinds of stuff. It was pretty cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The guy shoveling snow at the
Unique. It was a box bigger than this one that's on large Marge, and he had a snow shovel, one of the ones you push on the ground with the big mouth on it, picking up snow from the parking lot and dumping it in the box
for his beer.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Great sled.
Yeah, those are awesome workhorses. That's for sure.
Look
there
at
we go.
that.
That's a Canadian ice hut with a Cougar out front. Yeah, that Titan would probably be decent on trails too. And this is Lauren Scanlon, and he says, let me just grab this here. Yeah, don't get that sled stuck is what
no, he said, yeah, don't get that
Massart
sled
says.
stuck, yeah.
This is Kirkland Lake, sunset pictures on Lake Temiskaming. Cheers, and I love your podcast. Thanks, Lauren. We love having you. This is a Val d'Or trip here. We might have seen that. No, we didn't see that bridge. We weren't up that high. But Val d'Or and Kirkland Lake, and what did he say the last one? Temiskaming. This one here is Temiskaming. But
nice,
good looking sled and good looking photos here too.
Yeah,
those trails are big. Yeah, but Gary, Marge will dangle too. By the way, I bet she will. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sending those in, Lauren. That's awesome. Love sunset pictures. You can't get enough of them. Mark Kramer, he says, yeah,
he's part of the FEB. He's part of the FEB Fergus Laura Bellwood Club.
He is so.
I think he's their. I think he might be their social media guy. Might be.
I think
else.
he is. I think you're right. Yeah. So I did some toques for him a few years ago for the Snowmobile Club. So
nice.
Myself and another club member rode out of the Val d'Or area the past few days. We couldn't believe how amazing the trails were, in particular with the low snow condition that most of Ontario and Quebec have experienced. We rode mostly fresh groomed trails up to Amos, Sanitaire, and Labelle on our daily loops. While on Amos for lunch, the owner of our favorite hotel we stay at asked if we could help tow his sign out to the trail entrance so customers could see where the hotel is. We happily agreed to help and he picked up the lunch tab for our efforts. Great trip and highly recommend the area. That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really good. I wonder if he was with Denon's group, because Denon was with a couple snowmobile clubs.
From Collingwood, I think.
Oh, he was with Collingwood? Okay. Yeah. Oh, there's a sign being towed out. That's awesome. So there you go, Brian Lynn. Skidoos not only tow lynxes, they tow signs.
Yeah.
But we didn't get a free lunch though from Brian when we towed his lynx.
We did get
we got dinner. We got dinner and accommodation.
Hey.
We got better.
Of course, the accommodations were his heated garage floor.
Yes. No.
It was good. Thanks, Brian.
That's a story you'll tell for decades, Mark.
And we
on the sign.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Look at that trail.
Nice.
Yeah, because the other people we know in Val d'Or said they were amazing as well.
Oh, that's a great shot.
That's a cool shot. That's Quebec right there, right? Like that's how it looks. Yeah. Okay, this is about chasing snow. Where would you like to live in Ontario?
Is the answer Quebec? I'll live in Mount Laurier. There's my answer.
Yeah.
Or Val d'Or. This looks beautiful.
This year, oh geez, I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Right now, I mean, I guess maybe Bancroft.
Yeah, that's right. They usually have snow.
They seem to always have snow, and I mean they're still open. A lot of trails around there are still open. I don't know how good they are, but
yeah, we were on Highway 7 on our way home, Corey, and they were thin. The ones that did cross the road, but I mean,
you guys came back 7. You came.
Yeah, it took us down that way. I'm not really sure why, but anyways, thin. But hey, it's an open trail, and it's a bad winter.
Right.
Yeah, someone says there's zero powder on that trail.
it's true, but there's zero powder everywhere you go. So you're making like, it's not like he's riding zero powder where, 2 towns over they're in a foot. It is what it is. And actually, when we drove down the road, I thought, man, these snowdrifts look like they're hard rock, like all the sides of the trail and the road.
Oh yeah.
And you got out and stepped off and went right down to your knees.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't believe. It looked like it was hard, but it really wasn't.
And he actually just said, unless you have scratchers. Yeah, a lot of the hard pack trail. I mean, he was fine this weekend, but I'm sure Bancroft area. I think maybe he's referring to Bancroft. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would suggest getting a set of scratchers for this season. I think after.
Yeah, Uncle Buck. The changing vistas of Mary Lake is a nice place, but it needs more snow.
I don't even know if it's frozen.
True. It won't be. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, and that's the thing. It's like, it's not a year to answer that question. That's for sure. But
only positive vibes in this chat.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, what do we got here, Matt? Start some old iron.
He's wishing for colder weather. That's his 440, I think, right? Or 470.
Small, yeah, she's small.
470.
Ooh.
And Formula 500 on that one. Or is that the engine from it? That's probably the 500 block there.
No, because it's got yellow skis. This isn't the same sled.
Oh, okay. That's 440 then. But yeah, so he's wishing for colder weather, and we all are. But we'll see what happens in the next, coming days are going to be important. I know there's a lot of negativity out there when you look at Facebook and social media, and we try to be positive here on Snowmobile Sessions, right, Corey?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, if we can't be positive, who can be?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you guys again for the weekend. It was a blast. It's always a good time.
Sorry, Cor. He just actually Snapchatted me. It's a 583 in a 470 due.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's Massart, that first one.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
No, that's always fun. Thank you for having us, and I'm glad we made the choice of moving more north because I think it was the right choice to make. And and that's the other thing about flexibilities of Airbnbs is make sure that you.
Yeah, I'll check the cancellation. Cancellation policies are huge. That's right. Sometimes we found, I think when you get into the bigger ones with more guys or more beds or rooms or whatever you want to call it, they seem to keep half of your nightly rate if you cancel. So you got to be careful with that. So I always try and book with 48-hour cancellation for full refund. And you know what? They ask for a reason, and the last guys, like, obviously they know, like, because you're asking them, how are the snowmobile trails? So they know you're coming to snowmobile, and just tell them, like, it doesn't matter. You don't have to tell them anything, but just be honest and just say, look, like, unfortunately, the trails are not in good shape, and we're gonna move. And the guy's like, oh, totally understandable. Like, I mean, if you picked his place once, what's the chance you're going to you might pick it again, right? So
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Something caught your eye with the place. Just the weather obviously seems to have a big part. So
yeah, for sure. Well, if they're catering to snowmobilers, they'll understand. Throwing sparks at rolling the dice and heading to Maine in 2 weeks for 2 weeks. So that's pretty crazy. And Maine, I think, is doing good right now. The East Coast is getting hammered. So you should have a pretty good time there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that was a great weekend and good times, and thanks for the helmet review today. And just wanted to touch base tonight and give everybody an update, and we'll be back next week at 7:00. And for anybody registered for Lodge Sessions, just look forward to your emails, and I'll be in touch on what's happening and what's going on, and away we'll go. So thank you, all three of you boys, for having the show tonight after that long haul of driving. Love the live Lodge Session show last year. I hope you all have snow.
Thanks, Bobby.
We do too. That's a fun time, and we're trying to stay home.
I was gonna say, we definitely. I mean, we chatted on the way home and stuff, and obviously it's not in the best interest. We don't want to cancel it, obviously. But I mean, we got to do what we got to do, and no one, I don't know. It sucks because we want to get together and with everyone, and and we look forward to seeing everyone like from last year and new faces and stuff like that. But you know, everyone obviously understands, right? So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We're staying hopeful. It's for now. It's on still until you hear it's not, and just pray for snow, not rain, on Friday. And then I'll get an update from Jim on Monday. And if I don't have an update Monday night, Tuesday morning, definitely we will, and we can talk about Plan B if there is a Plan B and that kind of thing.
Everybody do their snow dance Thursday night,
right.
Friday morning, please. Just.
Yeah, the Pointsy says, thank you, boys. Love seeing you every Monday. We love seeing you every Monday.
Hope to see you next.
Yeah, no snow and can't ride, yet it's still fun to talk about snowmobiles. It is. It's very fun to talk about snowmobiles. So it's we enjoy it. That's why we came on tonight. And I was hoping that we would have heard from outdoor hobby guy in Galitz, because
this is the show's for.
We had a hoot meeting them last night, and I mean And again, the Tim guy that came up to us on the trail, at first he's sitting there just looking, not sure if he should come talk to us. And then he does. And it's, we're just like you and me, like it's just like anyone else. So we love to talk about snowmobiles. We love it when you guys talk to us, and it inflates our egos a bit too, doesn't it, Corey? But yeah, so it's, if you ever do see us out there, don't hesitate to wave us down or flag us down. And ran into a couple nice guys on the rail trail when we went up to the homestead there a week ago, and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, we seem to run into a few people every season. So
yeah.
It's cool.
And there's always people that are looking at the sleds, and they kind of stare at us when we're pulling out. And maybe it's because they're going to look at these clowns, their GoPro cameras, their YouTube stickers. But who knows? Maybe they're also guys that recognize us, but they just don't know if they can come up. They don't know if the cameras are rolling.
Well,
Please, we can always cut stuff out of the video if you don't want to be. If you just want to come and say, "Hey, I watched the channel and I love what you guys do," then just come up to us. We love it. We love hearing.
Funny thing. So one little quick story. We pull into the Lunic in the middle of nowhere, basically, Quebec. And, we thought it was a restaurant. So we take our helmets off and, everything. And this guy, I'm walking through the parking lot, and this guy comes walking over towards me with his helmet on. And he says, "I know you." And I'm like, I say, "Who the hell are you?" Like, I don't know. Who the heck would know me up here? He goes, "Oh, just wait till I get my helmet off," and takes his helmet off. And it was my wife's cousin in the middle of nowhere from that we haven't seen in probably 6 years. So he saw us coming in. He noticed Shannon's sled is what he said. So he's like, "Oh, well, he's seen pictures obviously on Facebook and stuff." And then literally walked over and like totally mind blown, like small world. It was crazy. So that was kind of cool.
You have to be the right time, the right place. Like,
oh my God,
we were out. Like we would have been gone and totally missed him, like passing ships. I thought I was dumbfounded. That was awesome just your reaction to like who the hell are you? Like he's going, "I know you. Hey Corey, I know you." And you're like, "Yeah, well, who the hell are you?"
I don't know.
In the middle of nowhere.
And the next thing you know, like they leave, and then we didn't know where they were going. And the next thing you know, we head up to the 100 Lakes, and then they're sitting at a table. The four of them are sitting at a table, and so it was it's kind of cool. So that's snowmobiling, man. That's snowmobiling. You just never know who you're gonna see, what you're gonna see, and it's fun. It's awesome. So I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like there's all kinds of stories, and the guy that owns the restaurant at the top of the Devil's Mountain.
Oh, I didn't even talk about
he's
that.
He's hilarious. Like that guy.
Didn't talk about the food either.
Man, Devil's Mountain, guys. You never think in the middle of nowhere on top of a mountain there'd be a amazing trailside restaurant, but there is an amazing trailside restaurant. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Relais Diablo or something.
Relais du Montagne Diablo. The guy that I assume he was probably the owner of it.
Yeah, I think he was the owner. I don't have a picture of my food.
Absolute hoot. Yeah, so we get in there, and we didn't know what we're gonna eat. And then you ask about the pizza, and he was straight up with us. He was like, "Yeah, you could split the pizza." And
yeah, you got a picture of it there.
It doesn't like it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he even knew we were like, "Yeah, we're gonna each split a pizza." Me, Corey, Shannon, then me and Dad.
Hard to see.
We had two pops and a 9-inch pizza. 2 pops, 9-inch pizza was $15 and that was including my tip to the guy as well.
It was 9-inch. It was like 11-inch.
Because I think he's like, it says 9, but it really, with the crust, it turns out to be an 11.
It's got layers of pepperoni.
Oh my gosh, it was an amazing pizza, and the menu's it's not just pizza.
Full like chicken parm, spaghetti, or whatever, and obviously poutine
with homemade garlic bread and poutine. Yeah. In most
Subs.
places you go for lunch have a very limited menu when they're serving lunch. This thing had a full menu. It was home cooked and heaping plates, portions, and great value. I can't say it enough.
The place is beautiful.
It's so funny because
the views are worth $1 million, right? So
yeah, they are. He could charge way more. The funny thing was you go in and his helmet racks and stuff. Last year when we went, it was under renovation on the one side, and they put an addition on, and he put a huge rack that basically an area where you can hang all your coats and jackets, and there's slots for your helmets to go and everything like that.
Snow cruiser up in the top rack there, and the 4-sided fireplace in the middle. It was amazing. We never went in last year. I went to the washroom, I think, but we never ate. But it's definitely a stop. It's amazing. So
No, I was going to say about my story is, and we went in with our snow pants on and our jackets and hung them on the chair, and he says to us, "What are you doing with them on the chair? I spent $70,000 on the coat rack out there, and you're putting your coats on the chair." Which was funny. He didn't care, but he was laughing with us. So we had a hoot, and I definitely recommend his place. And we said that to Galitz and outdoor hobby guy Steve, and we said, don't go anywhere except there for your food out on the trail, because it's well worth it, right?
Good prices, and it's like the guy never experienced inflation. It's like he's never left the mountain or something. You know what I mean? Like, and it's amazing the food, because you go obviously someone brings it up to him and the prices are fair. Like, it's a great business he must do, and because it's always packed with side-by-sides and sleds up there. So
the unfortunate part, the group that we knew that were up there the day before on the Saturday, which is something to think about. They actually waited 2 hours for their food. And the issue is, number one's busy, but staffing again. He had said that obviously we saw it the same, like there's like 2 people and the same guy cooks, serves, takes your money, waits, staff, like all that kind of stuff. Right. So it's, you got to be patient, obviously, but it's hard when you're trying to see a bunch of sites and you pay money to, be up there and ride around. But, but for us, it was like we had our food in 20 minutes. Cause
he told us
we
that
went on.
He told us, like, I'll get you out of here in 10 minutes, he was really good that way. But that's the thing. It's like, they're doing the best they can because they're at the top of a mountain, for crying out loud. Right?
Yeah. Like, let's not forget, like, this isn't on a road. There's no road access. It's a snow-covered, snow-ghosted mountain.
GFS just can't bring their 18-wheeler up there and drop off their food, right? Like,
no.
You're trailering up food, and it's pretty sweet, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's only by sled, by ATV, or by foot you can access this place. So, maybe helicopter too. But it's a lot of fun. Stay tuned for videos coming out on that on the whole weekend, and away we go. So, So, has anyone heard anything from the owner of the Magpie Relay in Dubreuilville? Do they have snow? I think that area does have snow along that way if you head east towards the Cap and all that. So Dubreuilville, and where I've heard a lot of people saying that they've gone to Mylene's place, Follower North, and have had great time. So it's I think they do have snow. Check the ofsc.on.ca. There's an interactive trail guide on that website if you don't have the app. and you'll get trail statuses on there. And you can always reach out to the Magpie as well, and just ask them direct, because I know Paul will respond, right?
Joel, should I buy my wife a chainsaw for Valentine's Day? Is that what you're saying?
Says chick you want to marry owns her own chainsaw, snowmobile, quality girl. She's a keeper. Amen, brother.
I got one down. I just need the chainsaw part, right?
Yeah. It could
She's
be.
a ripper.
Anyway, yeah, we've had a long day, so I won't keep you any longer. Corey, thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah,
And,
thanks
Yeah,
again,
making
guys.
a show out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
We whipped this up. We're like, you know what? We'll in the car. We're on our little conference call. We're like, let's do this. Let's just put a show together tonight for the people, right?
Yeah, and
Do
cheers to
this.
you, Joel, as well. So that's right. Cheers to you, and yeah, and thanks again. And we'll see you next week, and we'll keep on rocking.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for Sudbury.
Yeah, for sure, for
Do your
sure.
snow dance.
Everyone snow dance like crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Corey. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, take care, guys.
Okay. Yep. Take care.
It's a journey.